And away we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome in. Howdy, howdy, everyone. Hope you're having a... What are Tuesdays? What are Tuesdays generally regarded as? Everybody always has a problem with Mondays. Ever since, what's his name? Lorenzo Music started complaining about that. I mean, you know, it's a Garfield. It's a Garfield thing, which is okay. And then Wednesdays are hump days. And then Fridays are good because the weekend is coming. What are Tuesdays? Disappointing. There we go. Tuesday, you're a disappointment. Somehow that hurts so much more than anything else. Still not Fridays, indeed. To Square, Dweghan, welcome in. Good to see you, gents. And thank you so much for the follow. By the way, Mango Smasher, who got us just a few minutes ago, right about the time the stream started. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Storm Chasers. Same to Naoki Saito, who joined just a few hours ago. Jay Schaefer, Dragon Printer. Sumatha Hamburg. Holy shit. 20 Thunderhead months of Thunderheading. Let's not make Thunderhead into a verb. Let's not make Thunderhead into a verb. That has dark potential. I don't think I'm okay with that. Like at all. Thank you so much, Hamburg Tack, for all of the subscriptions that you have not only registered for, but also gifted on this channel, man. It absolutely means the world, but more than that, thank you for being here for that long. Thank you. Thank you for all the time that you spend in the stream. It is an absolute joy to have you here. Same to you, Sumatha. 25 months. Holy shit. God, the numbers just keep going up. It's out of control. Sumatha, always a pleasure to have you in stream, man. It's good to see you. I hope you're having as good a Tuesday as can be. Oh my god. Automat Crossbow Roof, good to see you. Oh no. Oh no. Here we go. Here we go. Free lunch day at work. Well, there ain't no such thing. Because, I mean, you're also at work. That's just part of your pay, is what that is. It's not really free to Square. Is it good? Is it good free lunch day? I think Tuesday is the day. Oh, the Raul Julia, yeah. For you, the day that bison graced your village was the most significant day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. How does that movie have such great performances in it for how unfucking believably terrible it actually is? Hamburg Tech, thank you so much for the gift subs. Holy moly, right off the bat. Darkover, Nhia, Panda, the Broadwater, Emerald, Sun, Dice, and good old Ice Cream Dave. Who doesn't like Ice Cream Dave? He's always got ice cream. That makes him automatically popular. They brought in the wood... You say that like there's just a wood-fired pizza truck that you can just bring in. Like they've got one on call. That's kind of amazing. Hamburg, really, thank you for all those subs, my friend. Dabber Raccoon, good to see you. Welcome in, you trash panda, you. Just finishing steeping my tea here. I'm going to enjoy my tea for a moment. We can catch up for a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and launch right on into building. I've already done some of the groundwork for the dwarves, literally the groundwork. I've glued their legs to their bases. This is sort of my process for mass assembly. I like to glue the legs to the bases and then build the model up on top of that. I find it's much easier than trying to glue them to the base once they're assembled. Ah, that mug is hot. Oh no. Oh no. Food truck near me that has a wood fire oven in it. There's a food truck near me that has a... nope, that joke isn't gonna work. I thought if I started the sentence, I would think of a punchline by the time I finished it, and I had one, but it wasn't very good, so I'm just gonna abort that one, and we're gonna move on. Jay Schaefer dropping a gift sub. Words dropping a gift sub. Heading out to Fink the Gnome. Jay Schaefer, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for the gift sub. Thank you for your support as well. I feel like I say that a lot. I feel like those words come out of my mouth a lot on this stream. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all the time you spend here. Thank you for the subs. And I guess, like, I say it a lot because y'all are really fucking supportive. I suppose that's what's going on. So, I guess I can't complain too much. Ah, there it is. Just right. just right. Pizza place up the road has a truck. Next Tuesday is the cheesesteak truck. There are a couple good places near me that have a decent number of food trucks, but I feel like I never go to them for whatever reason. I feel that I can't be rude if I don't pay you. I appreciate you just wearing that right out on your sleeve. That's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. You want to be an asshole? Then sub to the channel. Someone should tell O'Coral. I'm kidding, he's subbed. I'm pretty sure he's subbed. I think he's subbed. I don't care, honestly. I don't give a shit. Sumitha, if I ever reach a point where people subscribing to the channel is really just like a complete non-event, like, let me know. If I'm ever that much of a dick. That seems crazy. That seems crazy to me. I mean, I also give you less than many streamers. Like if I were like many streamers, I could give you the... I can't even make a fucking heart with my hands. What am I doing? How's it go? That's it. Right? That's the thing that they do, isn't it? Oh, sweet! I just found a second bottle of my Tester's Model Cement. That's fantastic, because I just ordered the last bottle they had in stock on Amazon, since apparently this is discontinued. I am so glad that I have another bottle of it. I didn't even realize. That's amazing. It was just on my desk. I'm so attentive. Mango Smasher, welcome in. How you doing today, buddy? Thank you again for the follow. You're one of the few people here who could reasonably do that in a reasonable period of time, Sumitha. Are notifications working appropriately now, though? They should be. It still doesn't give me my point redemptions in my in my activity log, unfortunately. I think that's because it might be because I switched to using Stream Elements. I don't know. It's so hard to keep all these different pieces of software working together, you know? What do you think? What do you think, chat? Should I wear contacts? Am I prettier without my glasses? I can certainly see better with them. Just made a mistake. Oh, hell yeah, Mango Smasher. You play Deadzone. Are you ramping up for Firefight? Are you going to be doing the living campaign that's starting, I think, this weekend? The Magnetar campaign? Oh, lordy lord. I mean, fair enough, Project Dark Fox. Also good to see you. We should. I was just thinking that the other day, Sumitha. We should grab fucking lunch someplace now that everything's open back up. There are a number of places in town I wouldn't mind checking out. There's some joints down towards your area. I found a sushi place, and a place there's a place that does decent like buffalo, like steaks and burgers and shit. Down kind of towards your area of 470. Go get you some din-dins, Project Dark Fox. Oh, fuck yeah, Mango Smasher. Well, shit, you know, even though it's completely meaningless, you know, please pass on my compliments. I like Mantic games. I think the people at Mantic are, they seem to give a shit about what they're doing. They seem to give a shit about not just, like, not ripping off GW, but sort of filling in the gaps for players like me who like parts of what 40K used to be, and also were unsatisfied with the way that Games Workshop kind of failed to update the rules as time went on. Because at this point, the rules for 40K are like super antiquated, which is weird given how many editions they have, and I can't get into playing that game. But Deadzone grabbed me with 2nd edition. It's a wonderful, light but still fairly deep game to play. I feel like 2nd edition had some issues, which eventually took me out of it, but the games I've had in 3rd seem to have... I went right to the problems I had with 2nd. They all seem to be pretty well fixed in 3rd. One of the big ones was Veermin list building. I can't make my broken list anymore, so thumbs up on that. And Firefight's really exciting. We haven't had a chance to play yet, but once I get these Forge Fathers done, we're going to be playing some games. Mainly play Kings of War, but see, I haven't played Kings of War. I've heard really good things about it, though. I like Mantic's rules. They don't overcomplicate things. They'll add things later on to add sort of depth and nuance, but they're generally easy to read. I find that if Mantic rules fall short anywhere, it's that they are on occasion too simple. But that's not really a complaint, because everybody else, almost everybody else, seems really, really concerned with making their rules as complex as they can, and they wind up being unreadable in some cases. I would vastly prefer a rule system that is arguably too simple to a rule system that is overstuffed. And I think that they've had a good ramp up through Deadzone into Firefight 2nd Edition. I was there for when the Warpath Kickstarter went off, and I feel like that was a bit of a misfire. I think everyone kind of acknowledges that now, but I gotta say, Mantic has really pulled it around with the Warpath universe. Oh, fuck yeah, Dwegom. Well, the nice thing is that Deadzone is super easy to pick up and super cheap. It's really not an expensive game to get into at all. You don't need many models, you don't have to paint much. Terrain-wise, and I say this as somebody who I literally just today released a set of 3D printable terrain files that are designed not just for 28mm sci-fi wargaming in general that I intend to use with Firefight, but also designed with Deadzone in mind. We used it last night, it was fucking amazing. I say this as someone who stands to financially benefit from selling his own terrain for Firefight and Deadzone. Mantic's terrain is fantastic. I'm hurting myself by saying that, but I can't possibly bring myself to lie about it. The fact is, Mantic's terrain is fantastic. You can build almost anything you want out of it. I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to have to grab it. It's a piece of terrain I made out of Mantic stuff that I got with the first Deadzone 2nd Edition box. Just minimal modification. I made something really cool out of it, and I still haven't painted it, but I'll show it off. I keep looking at Armada. I love fleet battle games. I'll confess right now, I'm 50-50 between diving into Armada or Dystopian Wars, no pun intended. Dystopian Wars has kind of got me because they just introduced those big Jaegers, which I'm really into. Particularly since they're obviously designed based on Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. But Armada seems to have a lot going for it, and support from Mantic is definitely appreciated. Cha-cha-cha. Finish off my tea here. We'll go ahead and get started building. I built the Forge Father's tank and the Iron Ancestor already. I don't have a base for the Iron Ancestor. I'm working on printing that out. But it's a pretty neat model. And I did successfully magnetize most, I say most because I couldn't do the APC parts, but the Forge Father tank went together really nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect out of this kit, but I didn't. I think if there's any weakness that Mantic has for these kits is that they don't include printed instructions on how to build them. But honestly, just sitting here staring at it for a while, I eventually was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I see. It's fairly self-explanatory, and it fits together nicely. Armada is also... Is it really? Is it a one-player game? I had no idea. I haven't looked that closely at it. I mostly just looked at the models. I haven't looked that closely at the rules for Dystopian Wars either. I was just like, oh, look, there's Jaegers. I like mechs. Ah, cha-cha-cha-cha. What are you going to pick up, Dwegham? Out of curiosity, what faction are you looking at for Deadzone? I didn't know that, Mango. That's actually pretty cool. No, you don't. What's up, Roland? How you doing today, man? Now, I've assembled all my Forge Fathers... Oh, not assembled. I got their legs out. I got a lot of their backpacks, their weapons, and their torso pieces kind of prepped, but we're going to be doing a lot of sprue clipping today. I was pleased to note that the Forge Father Iron Guard, what are they called? What are the big Terminator-looking guys called? Forge Guards? Forge Masters? Something like that. Might be Forge Guard? I don't know. I just totally forgot. I didn't realize they were in styrene sprues as well. For some reason, I thought they were PVC, like some of the ciphers for the Asterians. Tempted by Marauders and Plague. Well, the good news, Dweghum, is Marauders just got new models. Just got new styrene models. I think Plague got some too, but I think Marauders got more. Either one would be good. I like the Plague. When you're playing Plague in Deadzone, you're kind of playing like the environment for the players to fight against, because the concept of the Deadzone, as I understand it, is that Deadzones are in a sort of buffer zone for Plague quarantine zones. They establish like a buffer around the quarantine that's like, don't fucking go there, evacuate all the planets, no one's allowed in. And so people go into dead zones because there are still resources left over, usually from rapid evacuations, but they're dangerous. So if you're playing, like, the two main, not main, but the two factions that have sort of special standing in Deadzone are like the Enforcers and the Plague. Because the Enforcers are the guys who are actually enforcing said quarantine, and then the Plague are the ones that it's being quarantined against. Everybody else is just trying to just steal some shit. A Dodge, good to see you. Roland has Enforcers, Plague, GCPS, pardon, and Rebs. Are the Rebs out of, like... Are the Rebs getting forces to upgrade them to Firefight? I noticed I didn't see them in the book. Them and the Unnamed, or whatever they're called, which is ironic. I think they are unnamed. I don't think have forces for Firefight. Today was a gong show at work. What the hell? First production GCPS who look like knockoff Cadians. In fairness, Cadians look pretty generic, Roland. Can't do Forge Fathers. Apparently that would be too obvious and play to a trend. Hey man, Space Dwarves are people too. Forge Guard and Hammer Fist drop team. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mango Smasher. And the Hammer Fist are like Forge Guards with the gravity packs on, right? I admit, that's probably gonna be, once I move past 1,000 points, I think that Hammer Fists, I'm gonna get some of them. I like the look of them. I was tickled pink to learn when I was building the tank kit that I can make a version of the tank that has a 5 model transport capacity with a flamethrower on it, and then I can take a 5-man squad of flamethrower dwarves. So I have a dwarven flamethrower tank filled with dwarves with flamethrowers. Yes, please. I don't even give a shit if it's good. I'm throwing flamethrower dwarves at people. Had a customer shoot at one of our line crews. Well, I'm glad you're okay. Holy shit, dude. Shoot at, not shoot. That's something. So, a colorful day, you'd say, eh? Flammendorfer, more like Kursala. Ba-doomps. That was terrible. I'm never gonna do an air rim shot again. That was really, really corny. I'm sorry. Ugh. Eesh. Oof. Yeah, I would imagine said customer is probably in custody. That would be my assumption. It might be incorrect. You know what? That's my hope. Let's make that my hope. God. I like my little tea time at the beginning of the stream. Just gives me a moment to wrap my head around what I'm going to be doing. Which in this case isn't terribly complicated, to be fair. Oh God. Jesus, Roland. What? Shit, dude. I'm terribly sorry that you had that kind of a day. That's a little extreme. We're just the usual Jay Schaefer, a little Earl Grey with a lemon. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say otherwise, Sumitha. It's still just a bit like, oh shit. Most of my days don't involve anyone getting shot. Really interested in Deadzone? Have the starter box. Any tip on which models to build? So, first of all, Eons of Battle, welcome in. I've heard of you. I've heard of you, Eons of Battle. I don't believe I've caught your content, but if I'm not mistaken, you've done some stuff with Dr. Rhino, have you not? I think that's who I heard your name through. Anyway, welcome in, and you got the third edition starter box. Is that the one that has? I think it has Veermen and Enforcers. I want to say. So I have played Veermen. I've played Veermen more than almost any other faction in Deadzone. And I have to say that their stalkers are great in Deadzone. Just because Deadzone is so sort of compact, and the rats get a better sprint stat than most other forces, it's pretty easy to throw them at people, and their little knives are pretty nasty. If you can get more than one rat in a cube, like, you can do a lot of damage. Those dice start adding up. So I would recommend looking at using... I think Stalkers are better than Crawlers in Deadzone. Crawlers are a bit better in Firefight. But Stalkers... the Progenitor with Spitter Rifle is a pretty decent commander. I'm not sure what the new box comes with as far as commander models. The Chemical Grenade Launchers, they're Chem Grenades, those are pretty solid too. It's actually surprisingly easy to land. If you can see a cube, it's super easy to lob a grenade in it. If you can't see a cube, it's... You can sort of account for the scatter. Because if you can fire into a cube that has walls around it, if it scatters into a wall, it just bounces right back into the cube. So grenade launchers are surprisingly accurate, and I recommend their chemical grenade launchers. As far as enforcers go, I wouldn't take too many Peacekeepers. They're real expensive for what they bring to Deadzone, but having like a Peacekeeper in your force is pretty good. And the grav packs that the enforcers have, don't forget to make use of those, because they're actually pretty damn good when it comes to navigating vertical terrain or hopping over walls. Makes them very, very mobile. Just because your guys have a decent fight stat, your enforcers have a decent fight stat, maybe like wrist blades and stuff like that, though, don't underestimate the Veermen they're fighting against. Because while the Veermen may not be as great as enforcers, they're much cheaper, there's more of them, and they will dogpile the shit out of you. If one rat comes into your cube and doesn't succeed at its assault, there's very likely to be one behind it that's going to get a die bonus off the fact that he has a buddy in there, so watch out for them. No Deadzone scene near me. Roland, no, don't send your stuff to me, man. You could make a Deadzone scene. Will I be painting any Steel Rift stuff? It's not on the docket right now, but I have considered it. I have considered it. Death Ray Designs is doing some pretty great work over there. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't like limited edition models, Roland. I'm not going to pretend that, because I think you know I was lying. But, no man, keep your stuff, paint it. Get some players, drag some locals into it. It can be done. It can be done with some effort. Just realized I don't have any water. I'll get some after I've finished my little San Pellegrino. Is it just me, or are these the shit? We don't have any upper camera today. It would be up there. I'm sorry about that. I don't have anything on the printer because it's currently taken apart, and we're not using the palette cam, so this is going to be the first time in, like, almost 2 years that we haven't had a camera up there. I'll be painting a Sumitha before I move on to Steel Rift, I'll tell you that much right now. I'm on kind of a good painting kick right now, so I'm just trying to churn through some backlog stuff. I will say that, thanks to last stream and some comments made, I am putting off painting my Space Dracula because the idea of doing the 3D printed, like, swirl of bats around him, that's too fucking good not to do. That's way too good not to do. So I'm holding off on this paint job until I have some 3D printed bats to go around our Space Dracula. And I'll probably do the same for the more well, I guess we can do this guy to kind of warm up to it, and then we'll do the bats for Space Dracula Supreme. Cyborg space bats. They must be cyborgy and space little bats with like little mechanical eyes on them, right? Little robo wings. They have wings, and then there's like VTOL rotors in the wing, right? I could see that. I could see that. Cookie Mama, thank you so much for the re-sub. How you doing today? I do apologize, Cookie Mama, that your stuff from the giveaway has not shipped yet. I know I keep saying it. It's just, it's waiting until I can do all 3 Vaders in one photo, and then you'll be getting it. Rocket-propelled cyber bats. Oh no. This print sounded so much simpler before they became cyborgs. Oh, I love these things. The San Pellegrino, the citrus ones in particular, the blood orange, the orange and the lemon are just amazing. The grapefruit ones are pretty good too, but I like the orange and the lemon. Oh my god, Cookie Mama, happy birthday! I'm terrible about keeping track of when people's birthdays are, so please let me know when yours comes up, because chances of, like, I barely know what my birthday is. Honestly, I've missed a couple of them, so... But happy birthday to you. I'm so sorry that you're not feeling well. Take care of yourself. Please, please focus on self-care today and get well soon. And thank you so much for that shout out there. Nothing plus gin is delicious. Anything plus gin equals suck, because gin is awful. I hate gin. Ugh. Yeah. The blood orange ones. Have you had those? Have you had the blood orange ones? Automat? They're fucking amazing. Feel better this instant. I command you to be healthy. I don't know if that's gonna help. God, I did something on my wrist last night. Like, I literally wasn't doing anything. I'm standing over the game table. We were playing Deadzone, and I gestured like this, and it was just like, oh, pain. This is just my life from this point on. Blood orange juice plus champagne. As long as it's cheaper champagne, I ain't gonna complain. Alright, I got all my backpacks laid out here, so I'm gonna move these off to the side, because these are gonna go on torsos as I build them. I was just cleaning up parts earlier. Pinched nerve? Yeah, probably. Something. I mean, you know, when you consider how delicate the wrists are, I've been taking steps lately to counteract carpal tunnel, but yeah, it's very likely I just pinched something in here temporarily. I think that pain is from too many birthdays. There's an unfortunate truth to that. I dug into the weapons. I got my 4 Hailstorm autocannons picked out. We're going to be drilling some barrels today. I will, probably... Here, answer me this question. When I do this, is it loud in the microphone? Does it sound horrible? I apologize in advance. Does that sound awful? Because if it does, I'm either going to put it off or I'll mute while I do this part. I love this thing, by the way. People have been asking about drills lately. The WoW stick is fine. I have the WoW stick. I've used it a few times. I like it. I use this so much more. This is the Tamiya Hobby Drill. You can get this for, I think, 25, 30 bucks. You build it yourself. It actually comes on sprues, which is hilarious. It is hilarious. It's just like a motor and parts, and like you have to build it yourself from the instructions. So this in and of itself is a hobby kit to make this. And then it just runs on, has a simple little battery compartment here. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, God. Easy to use little chuck on the end. It holds I think my one complaint is that I don't think it won't hold anything above like a 1mm drill bit, so I just don't use it for anything much larger than that. But it's a damn good little machine. I love this thing. I use this more than almost anything else. The fact that it has the pistol grip, because I'll often use it with my middle finger, and then I'll wrap my thumb around the top so I can apply steady pressure. Not like hard pressure, just steady, direct pressure when I'm drilling something. Wouldn't listen to it for an hour, but it's not bad. I will try to limit its use then. If it gets too bad, please let me know, and I'll make sure I put on mic mute. Telling you, Automat, really, I can't recommend this enough. Again, this is the Tamiya Hobby Drill. It says on here, electric handy drill. I'm pretty sure it just said hobby drill on the box. And I want to say it was like $25, $30. Now, let's find that nerve. I'm kidding. Let's not do that. That's against TOS. I think self-harm is against TOS. Even for comedic purposes. Alright, where the fuck was I? Yeah, this came out nice, though. I was able to fully magnetize this kit. Now, this tank, there are 3 different tanks you can make out of this kit. There's an APC, there's an IFV, and there's a tank. MBT, main battle tank type. The APC version uses different pieces here and here and here. It's got a whole extra top. I wasn't able to find a way to easily magnetize those so I could swap these out, but the IFV and the tank both use the same top and back. So I just decided if I want to do an APC, I'll just get another kit. The IFV uses the dozer blade. The MBT does not, but I was able to magnetize that, so I can run it either way. Pretty easily, really. Not bad at all. There's the flamethrower that goes with the IFV, and that's just a piece of styrene glued in there and a magnet, and then that lined up with another magnet right there. The spacing all worked out nicely. It turns nice and even. And then the thing I really like about this kit is instead of a lot of other model companies who might just have one turret and then a series of weapons, you have to magnetize the weapons, this tank comes with completely different turrets depending on which weapon you're using, so I was able to just magnetize each of those, and now I have all the options for the tank as well. I'm really quite pleased with how this turned out. I was a little concerned because it's on a curved surface, but I managed to get those magnets pretty flush, and once they're painted, I don't think you're really going to see them. No, you have to say it 3 times in a row, uninterrupted, to summon the Canadian. It's like Beetlejuice. That reminds me, I need to put these. I'm just going to use this drawer to dump some of these extra parts I'm not going to use in real quick so they're out of the way. Magma cannons, dragon's breaths, missile launchers, all stuff I'm not using with this basic firefight force. Oh my god. Y'all are tempting fate here. Alright. I have all my legs glued down to bases. I had a kind of a little a matrix laid out for leg to base style so that I maximize the randomization of how many legs on which style of base. It was anal retentive, but effective. Those are all the bases I'll be using. Actually, I think I have like 2 extra. Oh my god! We got a raid from Nocturnal Miniatures. How you doing, Nocturnal? Welcome in. I hope you had a good stream. I did not get a chance to stop in. I saw that you were streaming before we got going. I did not get a chance to stop in. I hope you had a good one. DRD's doing tank bodies for their Steel Rift mechs. Oh my god. Austin over there, he's kind of unstoppable, honestly. He just goes and goes and goes. He's like a dog with a bone. Really talented designer. I love what Austin does. He's so full of ideas. 3 more Old Dominion painted. Fuck yeah, Nocturnal. I hope we get to see some of those in the Storm Report. What you up to, Thunder? Oh, just building myself another army alt here. I had pretty good turnaround last week. I built my GCPS on Tuesday's stream last week, and then I had them all painted by Sunday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off again 2 weeks in a row, but I'm going to give it the old college try. I'll try to do less of that so close to the microphone then. Yeah, let me rotate that away a little bit. You should still be able to hear me. Just not the scraping. For those of you who might be wondering what I'm doing here, this is a little tungsten-tipped scribing stylus. You can also use a center punch or one of any number of other tools, but if you're going to drill things like barrels on weapons, this is a great way to make yourself a little pilot divot. If you don't get it centered the first time, that's okay. You can just kind of line it up and smoosh it over. That'll just make sure that your drill goes in nice and straight. How you doing, Altier? I hope you're having a good Tuesday. I'm a big believer in drilling your barrels. I know some people don't bother with it, and you don't strictly need to. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I like to do it. And we got our flamethrowers here. Now, these guys have tiny tips on them, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful here and use a very, very narrow drill bit for them. Maintenance stuffs. Riding a high of 92 on a final you took. Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. Dude, congratulations. 92. Hard work, well rewarded. We got all kinds of celebrations in chat today. We got Cookie Mama's birthday, Mr. Altier doing well on a test, Roland was present for a... No, that's not a funny joke. That's not a funny joke, and I'm not going to tell it. It's obviously too soon. It literally just happened, and it's morbid as fuck. It had potential, but I don't think. I think that it would be tasteless. Making sure I got a nice flat surface to drill into on each of these. Couple mold lines I missed here. It's on the bottom, so no one's ever going to see it, but... just, you know, if you see a mold line, you might as well remove it. If you miss it, it's probably not that big a deal, but if it jumps out at you, you might as well remove it. Oh, awesome, Altier. Everybody doing conquest these days. Must be something to it, huh? Dr. Rhino. I see they'll let just anybody into this chat these days, huh? Okay, alright. Speaking of painting conquest, how's the Old Dominion going, buddy? Thank you so much for that shout out, Data Nerd. Folks, if you're not following Dr. Rhino, I don't know what there is that I could possibly tell you. Like, if you've been in Dr. Rhino's stream and you thought, no, this isn't for me, I'm not going to follow him. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I can tell you to change your mind. Because the fact is that his talent, his charisma, his sheer sense of style is self-evident. I have a hard time believing there's anyone in this stream who's like, I enjoy this stream and I like hanging out with Thunderhead, who doesn't like Dr. Rhino's stream, because we're almost the same person. It's literally the same mistake that I made with 100 Kingdoms, Dr. Rhino. You might have noticed that I kind of petered out on them after a while. I'll get back to them, just not today. Yeah, what's up, Doc? I like a good Mel Blanc joke. Actually, we may have people who don't know who Mel Blanc is. That's okay. That's alright. I noticed something while working on my Firefight minis that I really like. Everybody has flamethrowers. First of all, I noticed that the Forge Fathers flamethrowers look a lot like the old Rogue Trader flamethrowers from 40k, which is very pleasing to me. But I was building my forces for, like, I was building my list for my Asterian faction, who are space elves in that universe. And I noted that their flamethrower unit is called a phlogister. And this may not mean anything to you, and frankly, why should it? Is it the bases I designed? You know, I'm working on some of those today, too. My crystal base. Oh, also, I made these and I'm going to use them, but I'm going to rebuild all of these because after the last stream where I was working on these Crystal Badlands bases, I discovered how to make... This is really embarrassing. I discovered how to make insert mesh brushes and my own alphas in ZBrush, and anybody who knows anybody who knows how to use ZBrush should know those are really basic features. I just learned how to do it, which is really embarrassing, and suddenly realized that it should be way easier to make these bases than I've been making it, so I'm just starting over. Exactly, Roland. How am I not surprised that Roland, of all people, knows this? So, back in the 18th century, prior to the advent of modern chemistry, when the scientific method was sort of in its infancy as far as general adoption goes, there were a lot of theories out there about how the world worked. Lots of concepts of elementalism. And fire was something that always confused scientists and chemists alike. Chemists, that's the word, alike. So, phlogiston was supposed to be an element which was present in all matter. And please, correct me if I get this theory wrong. I may, because it's total bullshit. Phlogiston was an element that was supposed to be present in all matter, and when something combusted, when something lit on fire, what that was the phlogiston being expressed and released. That's what fire was. Phlogiston. So, I'm building the Asterian list, and I notice their flamethrowers are called phlogisters. And I start laughing. Because in my head, what this means is that this weapon, like, it probably doesn't shoot fire in the traditional sense. I imagine that you point this weapon at someone, and it just transitions the state of matter in the target from not on fire to on fire. It releases the phlogiston in your body, and you are simply aflame. It's like a spontaneous combustion gun. They're like, you know, like many theories, there are elements of truth you can find in there, but it was fairly wrong, Automat. Phlogiston does not exist. And it's certainly not being released so much as it's a carbon reaction. And something is combust, its potential energy is being released. This is true, but they didn't suppose that phlogiston was energy. Well, you know, the fact is it's a bullshit theory. So I think that you could find a lot of ways to link that with what we would ultimately discover about how fire does work. It's a key. When you insert it, you unlock the phlogiston within. You unlock the potential of every man, woman, and child in the galaxy to be more on fire than they currently are. That's what the phlogister does. I love it. I'm into it. Well, you know I do love pedantry to square. I'm going to try moving this over here in front of the microphone, so maybe it won't pick it up as much. Let's try that. I'm going to move this closer to my face. And now the microphone is not pointed at where the drill is, so tell me if it's too bad. And I managed to get that off center like a total genius, so I'm just going to kind of widen it out by hand. It's got a flared muzzle on it anyway, so I like to kind of flare it out into a bit of a cone shape. Flogging them, or flogging them, as the case may be. Doing a diorama for Games Workshop Armies on Parade? Fuck yeah, Nocturnal, that's awesome. It's the alchemic catalyst that converts something from, yeah, and that's what I look at the phlogister as being, and then the concept of phlogiston is that it's an extra state of matter. You know, there's like there's what, liquid, solid, gas, plasma, and on fire. Which is kind of what plasma is in some ways. Yeah, the phlogister, it changes your state of matter from not on fire to on fire. Which I'd imagine is probably very confusing when you're fighting Asterians and people just start combusting seemingly at random. Though it still, with the way it works, it still hits everyone in an area, so I'm going to assume that it projects like a field. Yeah, I could, Dwegom. I'll try not to use the drill too much today, I do apologize. Interlocking fields of fire. Not just interlocking fields of fire, interlocking fields of on fire. Either way, that made me chuckle knowing that the writers at Mantic thought of that when they were making their their elf faction. The space elves with their ancient technology use 18th century theories of combustion. Sure. I like this more than the pin vise. I have multiple pin vices that I'll use. This is quicker. Oof. Oh, it's a square. Why do I tell you, people? Why do I give you the ammunition? Low speed, high torque. It's not the size of the tool, it's the motion in the ocean. Oh god, talk about mixed metaphors. Is being on fire like being wet? In that, in the same way water is not wet but applies the wet effect, does plasma do the same for on fire? I don't think I'm qualified to comment on this level of in-depth scientific analysis. Hey, Loki, how you doing, man? Yours is the drill that shall pierce the... Indeed. Mine is the drill of the master. New Star Trek Thursday. Everybody seems to be liking Strange New Worlds. I maintain I have a 2-season wait-and-see policy on Strange New Worlds. I'm glad people are enjoying it, and if it gets 2 solid seasons, I'll probably watch it. I think baking does refer kind of... Well, no, I guess maybe not, because you can bake chicken. I don't know what the difference is between baking and cooking now that I think about it. Finally pulled the trigger on some gunplay. Fuck yeah, what kits did you get? Started off with the beard and then shaved the beard. Oh, that's not a good sign. Dwegham, you have a great night, dude. Thanks so much for hanging out. And dude, I hope you... I look forward to hearing more from you on Deadzone as you get your models and get into it. It's a real easy game to just pick up and play. So I look forward to hearing your opinion. Got the Supreme RX-78. I can think of worse places to start. MG Barbados, MG Freedom 2, and a Gundam Wing SD kit. Nice. That's a pretty good haul. Everybody seems to think Anson Mount is the shit playing Captain Pike. Again, I'm on a 2-season wait-and-see policy. If they could do 2 good seasons, I will watch them. But man, Discovery and Picard killed most of my enthusiasm for New Trek. Can we have a buddy stream where we paint Zaku's? That's like one of the best ideas I've heard in months, Dr. Rhino. Fuck yeah, let's do it. We'll both get and build Zaku's, and then we will paint them. Because I've done a couple of streams, mostly with Steel a Rebel, admittedly, where we did our Supercell paint job. Oh, that's right. That is the one weakness of this drill, I just remembered, is that this is the smallest chuck, and the smallest it goes is 1mm, so I'm going to have to transition to a pin vise. That's okay, though. No big deal. Hear that, Tamiya? I want a smaller chuck for this. So this camera that I have right here is kind of an expensive one. This is the Lumix G7. My face cam is a Logitech C920, and that would be my recommendation. The Logitech C920 can usually be had for like $50 to $60, and it's a real solid workhorse of a camera. Those are the wrong Chucks. Deep Space Nine did in one pilot episode when it took Picard an entire season to do. Ramble about time. I like the DS9 pilot. It's a good episode. That's probably a better episode than anything else in Season 1. Boo. Boo, Altair. Boo this man. Alright, now to pick out a tiny drill bit. Big face, little hand. Yeah, well, I figure if you're doing a building stream, most of what people are going to want to see when they're watching is going to be right here. And the face is optional. It's optional. Let's go down to a 0.25. Try that. Really, Roland? Because that was, if I remember the plot of the pilot of Deep Space Nine, that was Sisko learning not to completely move past, but to stop torturing himself for his own trauma and loss. That was the wormhole aliens who didn't understand time kept asking him, like, if this moment for you is pain, then why are you always here? Why do you live here? And he's like, I don't live here. This is the worst moment of my life. And they're like, I don't understand. You live here. And he came to realize that he had been torturing himself with the memories of his wife. I agree, Sumitha. It took it a long time to figure out what it wanted to be as a show. But even then, its episodes were pretty damn great. I mean, you know, once the Dominion War started, it was like, hold on to your butts. Yeah, this'll do. That's good enough. Don't need a particularly deep drill. It's okay, Altair. It's okay. We forgive you for your transgressions against good sense and taste. Just point me at the model to buy, Thunderhead. We'll find ourselves a Zaku to get. I'll tell you the other option, the other thing we could do, Rhino. I've got a Dugram kit. We could build a couple of Dugrams. But you might prefer Zaku, and I understand because we haven't watched Dugram yet. For my money, Fang of the Sun Dugram is the best mecha anime ever made. But, you know, I think lots of crazy things, so take that with a grain of salt. If only there was a counselor at Starfleet assigned to ships that could provide mental health care, right? Everybody needed a Guinan, clearly. I know you were talking about Counselor Troy, but let's be honest. Everybody went to Guinan. Yeah, I'm glad that you took that in the spirit in which I delivered it, Robin. How you doing today, man? It's good to see you. I love this stream. I love this stream, you guys. I love coming here. I love being here. It's just like getting to hang out with a bunch of buddies. Which is all I ever wanted it to be. Morn always listens. Morn won't stop talking. Jeez, can't get him to shut up. It's always great when Troy would be mysteriously absent from episodes where she would instantly solve the problem. Yeah, she was always busy with some stupid bullshit, or like at a conference or something. Or like the one where they unfroze the people from past Earth, and the one guy was like, I've got to check my stocks. And his contribution at the end of the episode is he's like, those Romulans are lying. It's like, Troy could have told you that, but she's busy playing fucking housewife or something. I think they probably had a moment where they realized that, too. They're like, but for that to be his arc, then Troy can't be there, because that would make no sense. Like, she's counseling one of the other Earth folk. Okay, sure, why not? Point is, she's not doing her fucking job. Let's clean these up a little bit. Oh, no, to square. Why did I encourage this by discouraging it, I feel like. I really should know better than that. It doesn't hurt to do a little slice anytime you drill a barrel, because there's going to be a little raised plastic edge around it, so if you just line your blade up like this and give a nice smooth slice along the surface, it'll take off that raised edge. Just painting more Nurgle stuff, as well you should, dude. You're on a fucking roll, Robin. You are on a roll. You have done a lot of my favorite painting jobs, and unironically, Rockin' Robin, you are one of my favorite painters. I've always admired your work, but dude, your Nurgle stuff is fantastic. It's some of the most interesting Nurgle I've seen in a long time, and Nurgle always runs the risk of turning boring. Nurgle paint jobs are ironically stagnant. Which I guess that is an irony. I guess that would just be apropos. If you assume that Romulan is lying to you at any given time as Val. Yeah, Romulans are... Yeah. That may be one of the things that frustrates me the most about the one episode of... I think I watched like 2 episodes of Picard before I was like, nope. But this notion that the writers have in their heads that the Romulan star empire loses 1 planet. 2 planets. Okay, fine. Romulus and Remus. Remus was a fucking prison mining colony, so that doesn't count. Romulus, I always perceived Romulus as not really an economic or a manufacturing center, but Romulus struck me as more like Washington, D.C., like a political and cultural center. And they're like, oh, the Romulans are scattered across the galaxy, because they lost 1 planet? What the hell? Ulfgar, the awful, welcome in. How you doing, man? Interesting Nurgle scheme. May I see? Rockin' Robin, please feel free to go ahead and post some links. Post some links, buddy. Show Ulfgar what you're working on. Alright, now time to start working on the meat here, if you will. These are Forge Guard. I don't need them right now. I need to be working on these folks. You don't know how to post links? Just you copy, paste, Instagram. Post Instagram links, you madman. Wombat Combat, welcome in. Death Guard is my jam. I've got some Death Guard I did year before last. I only did the 1 kill team of them, but you might like them, Ulfgar. Pop over to my Instagram and scroll back, you'll see some DG. Robin, if you post some links, if you find me a link, I'll put it right up here on the screen. And then I'll show mine. I'll do it. I showed you my Nurgle, please respond. Oh, my hand just went totally stupid. I'm a little flabbergasted that right now what's happening, this feels surreal. Like, is this a dream that I'm having? Where Rockin' Robin is having someone explain to him how to copy-paste a URL? Like, it's something bizarre enough that it could be a dream I'm having. Hey, not all dreams can be good ones. Also, Death Guard may be your jam, but I would not eat any jam given to me by the Death Guard. How you doing, Wombat? It's good to see you, man. Alright, let's work on some torsos. It'd probably be Toe Jam. Anyone else remember the game Toe Jam and Earl for, like, I think it was Sega Genesis? Making some carne guisada. Ooh, lordy lord, that sounds delicious. Oh, doing pretty well, and thank you for asking. Goddamn, dude, I miss Tex-Mex. I miss a lot of things about Texas. I do. I never expected to, but it's just true that I do. I miss having a Tex-Mex joint on literally every block. That was the business. Any second now. Any second now, Rockin' Robin Workshop is going to figure out how the copy-paste command works. Oh my god. That's just your Instagram as a whole. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Let's have a look. They're all pretty great. Little green melty face Nurglings, which I like these guys better than the more cutesy ones. And continuing the motif, we move up to Epidemius, and then I really like this one. I really like this one. There's so much going on here, and it's so colorful. And then this twisted, perverse thing. This... We talked about it last time. It's so... It works on so many levels. This is honestly one of my favorite really gross details here, is it's like the skeletons pouring out of the gut mouth. Some of them still screaming and alive. And these poor bastards up here in the meat gibbet. The colors are so interesting, and particularly on the intestines, but I commented on that last time. And then all this great MCP work. Got a green goblin down here. We got more Nurgle. Like, Rockin' Robin has really been knocking it out of the fucking park on his synthwave Nurgle. Now, let's see, how far back do we have to go to see my Nurgles? My Nurgles. This is a little ways. Any minute now. How many times have I posted to Instagram? What's wrong with me? What a nerd. Come on. I didn't pass them, did I? No, here's my MCP. More MCP. Captain Marvel, and MODOK, who's one of my favorite models I've ever painted, bizarrely. Did I go past them? Have I not posted them? What the hell's going on here? Because this is my old backdrop. If they're this far back, I've done new photography of them that's better. Yeah, they're all the way back here. Huh. That's bizarre. I have better photos of them than this, and I guess I just never posted them to Instagram. That's kind of crazy. Okay. Yeah, I like I went with the pre-Heresy Death Guard scheme and just tried to make them as grimy and rusty and nasty as I could while still keeping the primary cream color, and I'm pretty happy with how they came out. Ulfgar, please feel free to. Now, Ulfgar, you should know, being new to the stream, we try to avoid filling the stream with too many links. But something we do every single stream at the end of the stream is an art review segment called the Storm Report. It's so easy to participate in. If you would like to share some of your work, all you gotta do is jump into the Thunderhead Studio Discord, which you can get by hitting ! Discord over there in chat, or there should be a button down below where I am here. Pop in there, check out the Storm Report Rules channel. It's all common sense stuff, but just put your eyes on them real quick. Go into the channel mark the Storm Report and post up a picture, and we'll show it right here on the stream and give you some commentary if you like at the end of it. It's a great way for everybody to kind of keep track of what everyone else is doing hobby-wise, and we all sort of stay abreast of the community through that.
Welcome, everyone, to Thunderhead Studios.
This is important.
Where the only rule is...
Please don't show me your genitals. Please don't do that.
Have fun, be safe, and above all...
Don't show them to me. For the love of God. Don't do it. Don't do it, Hamburg Tack. You caught me slouching, buddy. You caught me slouching. I need to get some water, but I'm going to finish this off first.
Welcome back to 50 Shades of Coal Gray. And as he pulled his stiff bristles out of my wet fluids, I yelled out, "No, Thunderhead! You need to thin that paint first!"
It's true, folks. Always thin your paint. Well, thank you, Dr. Rhino. Thank you so much for raising the general level of discourse in chat. Boobies. really classing things up, you know? Hey, L Fire Spray. How you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. It's good to see you again. Well, it was Drakari, but here you are, so... How you doing, Drakari? I did indeed. It's one picture per Storm Report, and we review them every stream. And then it resets after the stream. I'm building some dwarves, L. How are you doing today? I'm not gonna take bets on whether or not I cut myself today, but if you feel like running a pool privately and quietly, I won't stop you. Front and back torso halves. Has there ever been a more riveting assembly experience? I propose not. Has anybody else out there watched Severance Season 1? Or am I literally the only person... Oh, I put that on upside down. Am I literally the only person who has Apple TV currently? I suppose that's possible. It fell on the desk. It's okay. Am I to take from that, Roland, that you have watched Iron Sky: The Coming Race? God, that movie was bad. I wanted to like it, but I couldn't. I couldn't finish it. I liked Iron Sky 1, but Iron Sky 2 was a disappointment. Well, if you've got Apple TV, Jay Schaefer, for any reason, I cannot recommend Severance enough. If you happen to have it because you're watching, like, Mythic Quest or For All Mankind or whatever the purpose may be, do yourself a favor and check out Severance. Like, you say that, but I genuinely, unironically do expect more from my movies about moon Nazis than that one, Dr. Rhino. It was like... It wanted to comment on a bunch of social issues and modern events and famous people, but it had nothing to say about any of them. So it just became a series of vague, meaningless references. It was just like, Apple's like a cult. You're like, okay, what are you trying to say about it? It's like, no, that's the whole joke. Apple's like a cult. No analysis therein, it just is. Vladimir Putin is a lizard person. Wasn't funny then and is less funny in retrospect. I enjoyed the first one. I liked Iron Sky. It was stupid and fun. That is, in fact, an insult to the lizard people. I can't disagree. It's giving that man too much credit, as it turns out. To be fair... Now, I have Apple TV because I enjoy Mythic Quest, Rob McElhenney's show, which is... weirdly, that one got better from Season 1 to be 2. From Season 1 to Season 2. Usually shows get a little bit worse or lose their way, but that one refined itself, and I thought Mythic Quest Season 2 was great. And then, let's see, which backpacks am I using? Let me sort out the backpacks. It really doesn't matter which ones I choose here. I'm going to set these ones aside for the autocannon bros. And then I guess the rest of them, it doesn't matter which. Really, Jay Schaefer? I like the second one more. They're both pretty good, though. Wait, what am I doing wrong here? I'm doing something wrong. Hang on. I'm doing it upside down, maybe? Oh, yes, I am. I am putting it on upside down. That was the problem. No. I get Turtle Wax sponsor the stream, given the shiny dome and all. Oh, it's funny because I shaved my head. Oh, the jokes. The jokes they tell themselves. Am I insane? No, that is how they go on. Maybe I should look at the ones I've built to make sure I'm not losing my fucking mind. Well, that's how they go on. It looks like maybe you want to do the torsos to the legs first. Maybe that would help. Let's see. Yeah, because it looks like it attaches to kind of both the torso and the legs. Alright, well, we've learned something. Yeah, it sort of presses into the belt on the bottom part there. So over modern science fiction television. Most modern science fiction television isn't science fiction television. Roland, I think you would love Severance. I didn't expect it to be what it is. I thought it was like a workplace comedy drama or something like that, but it's like straight up really, really interesting sci-fi. And they announce the general subject of the show right in the beginning, so it's not spoilers. It's something I was unaware of because I didn't see anything to do with it, but the premise of... Actually, no. You know what? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you the premise of Severance, and I don't want you to look it up either. If I mentioned it and you thought, oh, I would like to watch this thing that Thunderhead suggested, go fucking watch it. Don't listen to anybody. Don't look at any spoilers. Because the first part of the first episode is more interesting if you don't know what Severance is. You learn pretty quickly. What you're describing, Roland, is just a lack of decent writers in television in general, which is admittedly something we are suffering from. They are, in fact, late. You are the one who just got done watching Star Trek Picard Season 2, sir. So as long as you're paying your money to Paramount Plus, I am flabbergasted at your complaints. Stop giving them money. It's one of the biggest reasons that I won't watch Strange New Worlds under almost any circumstances, is because I'm not giving them money. I'm not going to reward those assholes for what they've been doing. You're still giving them money. You're still giving them. You're one of the numbers that they look at to go, oh, people want more Discovery. Everybody seems to like Lower Decks. That's another one where I'm like, you know, it might be good, but I'm never gonna know. I'm never gonna know, because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna give them the money. I'm picking out the backpacks that have multiple extra magazines on them because I want to give those to my autocannon guys. One, two, three. Four. There we go. Can I see Doctor Strange? I'm not going to see it in theaters, Robin. I don't do movie theaters anymore, man. Like, at all. I just don't. I'm past it. I'm over it. I'll watch it when it comes out streaming. I want to see it, but I'm not going to theaters. Wait. Was my head in the frame? Oopsies. There aren't any white hairs on my head. They're all in my beard. I do have kind of like this salt and pepper thing going on right now. Well, there can't be any consequences for a fan favorite character. That's just not how Disney rolls. WandaVision was actually a really great show right up until the very last episode, which... Actually, I take that back. I also didn't like the first 2 episodes, which a bunch of other people did seem to like. But the last one was just like, oh no. Oh, it's just, okay. It's just your bog standard Marvel laser beam fight. Whatever. This is going to be happening to me all stream. I think Multiverse of Madness is one of the only projects that I really give a crap about for Marvel right now, and that's just because it's, you know, the first thing Raimi's directed in 10 years, so I'm interested by definition. Make sure he's not gonna have a problem with his base. No, it doesn't seem like he will. Excellent. Hey, to Square, good to see you. Now, the salt comes from many sources. When does The Mandalorian come back? We got Mandalorian Season 2.5. They called it Book of Boba Fett for some stupid reason. Ooh, I don't want to put him on this base. I don't want to do that. I'm going to put that on another one. And I'm going to do that because this guy's holding the autocannon, and I have him situated very far forward on his base because there's a crystal cluster behind him. So I want this to be a rifle guy or someone who's got a more neutral pose. The autocannon is really front heavy, and he's going to hang off his base if I do that. So we're going to hold off on him. He's going to get a standard backpack. Don't get me started on Halo. I haven't watched any of it, nor will I. I feel like I'm growing as a person. I still complain about a lot of things, but when there are things that I know I'm gonna hate, and not hate in a fun way, but just hate, I just don't watch them. Kenobi comes out at the end of this month. Yeah, that's gonna get me to resub to Disney Plus, is watching Kenobi. I won't even pretend that I'm not gonna watch Kenobi. I obviously am. This guy will get a standard backpack as well. Just too far forward on the base with the crystals behind him. I'll probably watch Moon Knight once I resub for Kenobi, but I definitely decided that I didn't care enough about Moon Knight to stay subbed for it. It's a perfectly fun show. I don't really have any complaints about it. I was never really that attached to Moon Knight as a character, though. Maybe someone who read the Moon Knight comics would have more to be complaining about. I don't know. I don't know him all that well, so. These will be two Reaper autocannon guys, so I'll set them slightly apart. Let's do some more torsos. Leaks for Kenobi are saying the main character is the new Inquisitor lady. That would follow from Book of Boba Fett, where they name the show after one person and then don't have the show be about him. How subversive. Is this a Rian Johnson joint? And as we know, subverting expectations is immediately pleasing regardless of context. And if you don't think so, well, you're probably a bad person. Disappointed in Moon Knight, they changed all the costumes and there wasn't even Tuxedo Mask. Wait. That... Okay. I see. I see what you did there to Square. I see it. I want you to know that I do see it. I just don't respect it. I apparently have to watch... I was going to say rewatch, but just watch Sailor Moon. Because I learned recently, and this is embarrassing that I didn't know this, that the version of Sailor Moon brought to the United States by Deke was a heavily re-edited version. I think I mentioned this before. It was a heavily re-edited version of Sailor Moon with storylines and character details changed. I did not know that until fairly recently. So apparently, now that it's available, I have to go rewatch Sailor Moon for the actual story and characters. Hey, Desert Owl, how you doing? They are that forgettable, Drakari. That's the thing, like, you know, say what you will about Rian Johnson, he made a memorably shit movie. Game of Thrones deserves, it belongs in the trash bin of history. Not even mentioned. I've never seen a career crash and burn as fast as D.B. Weiss and David Benioff. That was amazing. Star Trek or Dougram Fang of the Sun for your next watch? Ooh, Gimishkar, which Star Trek, buddy? That's a big question. It's a big question. And, oh, that's a tough one. Those are two of my favorite shows. Shut up, Happy Heretic. God, no. Damn it.
Let's watch Star Trek Generations. My favorite movie is Star Trek Insurrection.
At least it's not Nemesis. That is a low fucking bar to clear, Roland. At least it's not Nemesis. Okay. Like, they're pretty much all shit. I think First Contact is the best of them, and I have serious problems with that movie. Insurrection, or the one where Picard makes a witty Action Man clip before murdering F. Murray Abraham. No, hold on. Hold on a second there to Square. Let's not go lumping in huge budget movies that have no excuse to suck as badly as they ultimately suck with whatever Neil Breen is able to make with the money that he can scrounge together from producers. Neil Breen has vision. He may not have talent, but he has vision. They had no vision. They had all the talent in the world and they had no vision. At least Insurrection had Riker flying the Enterprise with a joystick. Oh, God. Yeah. Riker would be the one to show us his manual steering column. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm joking about his that's the manual steering column is his penis. Yeah, that's the joke. The first of them, really, the 2009 Star Trek. See, what's funny is that movie, Dr. Rhino, is not a bad movie. It's a bad Star Trek movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's just kind of like an unrelated space sci-fi movie. It's fine. It's fine. I thought Star Trek Beyond was actually somewhat passable. Yeah, I was gonna say, Happy Heretic, there are literally multiple episodes of TNG, not even the movies, there are literally multiple episodes of TNG where the plot hinges on we're in trouble because Riker fucked an alien. Like, it's a thing. There's an episode in the first season where aliens distract Riker by providing him with an extra fuckable hologram. Insurrection did have the lead of Rage Against the Machine as one of the bad guys' henchmen. Is that true? I mean, there was a TNG episode with some sleeping fish people that had Mick Fleetwood in it. Really? I did not realize. I did not realize that Morello was in that. I mean, it's not like he does anything. It's just, you know, he stands around and goons. I assume the Sona were the wrinkly-faced testicle aliens. I assume. Oh yeah, Iggy Pop. Well, like, you couldn't miss Iggy Pop on DS9, though. He shows up as a Vorta to replace Wei Yun. And it's like, oh look, Iggy Pop's in the show. Like, it's so in your face. He had an extended, like, multiple extended speaking parts in that episode. And then they kill him, right? That's the episode where they kill the... Hold on. That's the Magnificent Seven episode with the Ferengi, right? Where they have to get Mugi back. And so they go to, what's the name of the sister station to Terok Nor? And then they kill him by accident. They shoot him. So then they have to go all weekend at Bernie's to convince the other, Empok Nor, thank you. Yeah, they put a neural stimulator in his in the brain of his corpse. And they, like, sort of drive him around remote control to make him seem alive for the Jem'Hadar so that they'll turn over their prisoner. That's a great episode. I like the episodes where they go to Empok Nor. They go there a couple of times. It's just a good way to reuse the sets to be a different location. Oh, fuck. Roland, don't tell me that, man. You know that I'm all about that Jeffrey Combs. I'm telling you, if they give me 2 good seasons, I'll watch it. You saying Jeffrey Combs makes me want to go back and rewatch Star Trek Enterprise. Just saying his name. Ah. Oh, it absolutely was. Enterprise got canceled just as it was getting really good. Well, hold on now, Roland. You know as well as I do how foolish that statement is. Saying Jeffrey Combs is in a Star Trek show is not even remotely close to saying that he's playing literally any other character he has ever played in any other Star Trek show. These are 2 completely different things. Jeffrey Combs has played virtually every alien species that there is, in some cases multiple times. He's played 2 different Ferengi, as far as I remember. He was a Ferengi in TNG, and then he was another Ferengi in DS9. It's within possibility. It's also within possibility that he'll, with how bad their writers are, that he'll somehow be an early Wei Yun clone, and they'll introduce the Dominion to pre-TNG Star Trek, so don't hold your breath. I don't see that happening. I'm pretty sure... I don't think the current writers of Star Trek know what the Dominion is. I don't believe that they've actually watched much Star Trek. Because otherwise, the Romulan Star Empire would not be crippled by the loss of a single fucking planet. They wouldn't have lines. Now, admittedly, most of my complaints are from the first few episodes of Star Trek Picard and what little I've seen, so it has a lot to do with the Romulans, because that was the primary plot, them and androids. But I heard them say something like, haven't you ever noticed that there are no Romulan studies into cybernetics? And I flash back to that fucking episode with the Romulan defector where he walks into 10 Forward and sees Data, and he's like, oh, you're the android. I know a host of Romulan cyberneticists who would love to get this close to you. Like... it hurts my brain. So sad we don't get to see the NX refit with the secondary. I know, the refit is so hot, and we didn't get to see it, and that does suck. Enduring lifespans are longer than humans, so Shran could theoretically be alive. They did make reference to Shran, at least in Discovery. One of the ships was the Shran, which was cool. Shran is such a badass character. Just when he comes in all Han Solo style to save Archer's fucking ass, and he comes on the radio like, aha, pink skin, that's 2 you owe me. I'm like, oh, Shran. I don't think the current creators of Star Trek know what Star Trek is. And I don't disagree. Alex Kurtzman is a fucking hack. I don't understand how he has a career. This is the man who brought us The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and The Mummy with Tom Cruise, and he keeps getting hired. I don't know how. From everything I've heard about Alex Kurtzman, he gets hired, like as far as a realistic analysis goes, he gets hired because he is the producer's writer-director. Because Alex Kurtzman takes producer input and does literally anything they fucking say. He has no artistic vision of his own. He's barely a person. Producers pour their expectations into him like a vessel, and he shits out a slurry of their wants and then feeds it to us, and it's awful. How old was Jonathan Archer when he died? I know that they make reference to him in the Simon Pegg Star Trek movies. Insofar as Simon Pegg is talking about how he came up with an equation for transwarp beaming and tested it out on Admiral Archer's prize Beagle. Though I can't imagine that was Porthos. That had to be another Beagle, because that poor dog would have been so old by then. Actually, there's a good question. Does Federation medical technology extend to the lifespan of pets? I don't think that's ever been answered. Yeah, not even for the sake of a joke, Happy Heretic, it can't be done, because that movie was awful. Yeah, that's it, Automat. He's just willing to do anything they tell him. Anything at all. He does not care. Again, I don't think Alex Kurtzman is human. He's the result of some sort of, like, Khan Noonien Singh-esque augment program to create the ultimate commercial director. The most compliant empty suit that you can possibly breed. Are the producers why electric eels can fix teeth? You know what gets me about that Gimmish car is that's such a self-own. That's an own goal. Like, first of all, why did you make him have the teeth gap in the first place if you were just gonna fix it? And then you focus the camera on it, like the camera zooms in on his teeth, and it shows lightning bolts connecting them, and then they go, and they go together. And it's like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? You see that, and you think to yourself, the only explanation is, they thought this was a really good idea. Like, he has a tooth gap, and the eels fix his tooth gap. These are two things that were, like, written as bullet points under the fucking good idea header. People are really gonna like this, they said. Oh my god, I gotta stop thinking about that movie. I've managed to blank most of it out of my head. It's also that, like, my memories of that movie are part of why... It's one of my criticisms of that new Spider-Man movie, when it's like, oh no, all these people who know who Spider-Man is have come to this universe to fight you, Peter. Electro didn't fucking know who Spider-Man was. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, he very specifically did not know Spider-Man's identity. What the hell? Oh, well, at least he got to do that, Roland. That's something. Oh. Thank you very much, Guyver. Storyboarding. Gimishkar, that would be storyboarding. Hey, what's up, sewer creature? How you doing? He just knows his price. It's a sad existence, but if he makes money and that's his goal... That's what I mean, joy of painting minis, is he's just like... I'm sure Alex Kurtzman is perfectly satisfied because Alex Kurtzman doesn't care. There is no... Alex Kurtzman is not, in any form, on any level, an artist. He is a worker. And I suppose that is in some ways respectable, but in the context of churning Star Trek into an unrecognizable fucking commercial slurry, I can't respect it. And I won't pretend that he started it, because he didn't. You can blame, like, Rick Berman for that. Rick Berman started crapping up Star Trek back when he made the TNG movies, and he started letting the actors have writing input. Honestly, if anybody's to blame for the downfall of the TNG storyline, it's probably Patrick Stewart. Because holy crap, ever since they started giving him writing input, it's just been dumb. Which hurts me to say, if I'm being honest, and I'm sorry if anybody in here is a major Patrick Stewart fanboy. Let me just tell you, I understand how you got there, I just don't share it anymore. Hey Rio, how you doing today, man? Patrick Stewart seems to view Jean-Luc Picard as an extension of himself as a person, and that's a great disappointment to me, because they're not the same person at all. Oh, well, I just saw you. Someone's story... Yes, Gimishkar, exactly. Somebody storyboarded the fucking tooth gaps. An artist drew. They were like, oh, so you want the camera to focus on his teeth and show his... Oh, Alex Kurtzman.
Elbow rocket! Now!
Yeah, well, he's just a doddering old man now. What's that Gimishkar? Pacific Rim? I agree. I feel like Archer would be a terrible politician. Archer would be... He's like a good admiral, but he wasn't really that good of a diplomat. And there's an irony to that, in that he laid the foundation for the Federation, but he mostly laid the foundation for the Federation by kind of going out into the galaxy and being a tough guy. Like, he gained the respect of Shran, and it's through Shran that he then gained the ear of the Andorian Empire and the Imperial Guard. But it's not like he was some expert diplomat. He was to a degree. I guess there's that episode where he has the Tellarite ambassador on board, and he goes to the trouble of learning the Tellarite way of speaking and how you have to, like, exchange insults to be respected. Actually, as I speak, I think I'm convincing myself that I'm wrong. Like, the more I talk, the more I realize that I didn't think about what I said in the first place. You did freehanded, it doesn't suck. Fuck yeah, Happy Heretic. I hope we're gonna get to see it. Oh, sewer creature, thank you. Caught me slouching. Archer's the best. Archer and Trip are two of my favorite Star Trek characters. He also has one of my favorite Star Trek captain's lines. Like, we've got Picard's classic at the end of Encounter at Farpoint, which is, you know, let's see what's out there. Great line. Great line. But I liked Archer's. When Ensign Mayweather's like, oh, there's an ion storm on that heading, sir. And he just says, can't be afraid of the wind, Ensign. Take us out. Oh, shit, that's so good. It's so good. Can't be afraid of the wind, Ensign. I mean, the EMH? your spirit animal is a sentient hologram? I mean, I can accept that. Yeah, I think I take back what I was saying. Archer is a good diplomat. I don't think he'd be a good politician. He didn't seem to have time for a lot of that bullshit. He was a man of action. Not an action man in the sense that Picard got rewritten to be. He was just a man of action. Jay Schaefer, thank you for the reminder. I'm gonna go get myself some water, actually. Let me finish these torsos, and I'm gonna go swap out for some actual water. No Star Trek, so I'm just gonna hide in my panic pit from a sewer creature. You should watch Star Trek, man. Like, I'm gonna put this out real quick as a genuine, impassioned plea to everyone out there who hasn't watched a lot of Star Trek. Today more than ever, in the current world with its issues, I think we need classic Star Trek more than ever, and the message that it carried, and the understanding and the rational, calm, composed, competent leadership that it proposed. In many ways, that's the most science fiction of anything in the show. Go back and watch The Next Generation. Go back and watch The Next Generation. Is that true, Desert Owl? I did not know that. I'm not big on the history of aviation, so that's actually really interesting. Can't Be Afraid of the Wind is a quote from Orville Wright on why they were flying at Kitty Hawk. That's fantastic, and I'm glad to know that. And in that context, he clearly would have been specifically quoting that. I done got learned today, thank you. See, Steal a Rebel, see, I said that, and Steal a Rebel, like, crawled out from under a rock with a mug of coffee. Like, yes, watch TNG, glory unto you and your house. What's up, Steal a Rebel? How you doing? Chewy, thank you so much for the resub, man. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being a part of the community, my friend. It's literally what I did. But seriously, go back and rewatch TNG, you guys. It's fucking amazing. You can skip Season 1. In fact, you should skip Season 1. You're not really going to miss anything. The only thing you'll miss by skipping Season 1 is who is Tasha Yar, which is only really going to matter in, like, Yesterday's Enterprise, but they also explain who she is in Yesterday's Enterprise, so it doesn't matter. Fuck yeah, Nocturnal. Get on it. Skin of Evil is... That's the nicest thing you can say about it, Cookie Mama, is that Skin of Evil is interesting. Skin of Evil is interesting. I would not accept the argument that it is good. It's kind of just eh. Just eh. It's fine. But, like, if we're talking Tasha Yar episodes, I think Yesterday's Enterprise blows it out of the fucking water. Even that, what's the episode where they reveal her Romulan daughter? There's one where she suddenly replaces Admiral Tomalak, and I can't remember which episode it is. Also comes up in the Data Sentience. Yeah, no, it's true. She comes up in Measure of a Man. But again, it's like, not really that important. Like, there's so many other episodes in Season 1 that you have to fucking put up with, though. And then you have to put up with the Season 1 finale, which is bizarre. Now, it's before that, Sumatha. I'm pretty sure that we meet Sela before reunification. Feel free to correct me, but I'll put money on it's an episode before reunification that we're introduced to Sela. I think it's the one where they brainwash Geordi to murder the Klingon ambassador. I think it's that one. I can't remember the name of the episode. But they kidnap Geordi on his way to Risa. And they turn him into a sleeper agent. And I'm pretty sure, because she's standing in the shadows throughout that whole episode behind all the other Romulans. The Mind's Eye? Is that the one? Is that the name of the episode? It is that one, isn't it? And how you doing, Chewie? It's good to see you. It is very validating and pleasing to me that I was correct about that. Right? What is he doing? He's playing like stupid word games with the computer, and he like looks over and there's just a warbird and he goes, "Whoa!" I do like how Troy starts to pull that information out of him at the end of the episode, though. Because he's like, I don't remember what happened. And she's like, okay, so you were sitting at the console and what was going on? He's like, well, I was playing math games with the computer. And she's like, and when you saw the Romulan warbird, what's the first thing you did? And he's like, well, I looked at the console and... oh, shit. Like, it comes back to him when he thinks about what he was doing at the moment. The memory of the warbird is in there. And that may be one of the moments when Counselor Troy has proved to be most useful, when she's just being kind to Geordi and being like, look, this is going to take a long time and it's probably going to be traumatic, but we can help you. With the number of times that they got their memories erased, or got trapped in artificial realities, or had Q mess with the nature of existence, or, like... got straight up brainwashed or stuck on a holodeck. Like, can you imagine how totally screwed your perception of reality would be? As a member of the crew of the Enterprise D? Hey, Riot Sister.
Hello there.
Good to see you, Riot Sister. She's not getting mentally raped by aliens. She does her job okay. Yeah. I immediately think of is it Clues? Is it called Clues? It's called something. It's the one where they start off on the holodeck doing the mystery, the private eye simulation with Guinan, and then they all get their memories erased and Data is trying to conceal the truth of what happened. But in that one, an alien possesses Troy twice, and it's apparently super traumatic to the point that that's one of the memories that brings them out of it, is her, like, she looks in the mirror and screams, and she's like, I saw myself, but it wasn't me. It was wearing my face, but it wasn't me inside. And then they do it to her again, and they're like, oh, we'll erase all evidence this time. And they just don't address the fact that they had to do it to her again, and she'd be doubly fucked up now. She gets out of that episode like the worst of anyone. Everybody else is like, the evidence is wiped clean, they're not curious about what happened, they forget about the experience, and Troy's just like, my face looks like a mask from now on. I thought I just went crazy. She just deals with lifelong trauma. Yeah, the Enterprise calls that Tuesday. Good old Q. Q has one of my favorite moments in TNG. It's like, oh, Captain, the most disturbing thing happened to me. I began to feel sluggish and uncoordinated. The life seemed to drift from my body, and before I knew it, I lost consciousness entirely. And Captain Picard just goes, you fell asleep. Is that what that was? It was terrifying. It's Patrick Stewart's delivery on that one, though. You fell asleep. Of course, that one also has that amazing line from Worf. It's like, how can I convince you that I have lost my power, that I'm as mortal as anyone else here? And Worf just goes, die. Oh, excellent. Good one, Worf. Eat any good books lately? Right? I'm making you want to watch it right now, aren't I, Steela? I'm making myself want to watch it right now. Oh my god, does it really, Sewer Creature? I'm so happy. That's magnificent. What's the name of that episode? Somebody help me out. That, Sumitha, and when the fishmen in stasis come on board, one of which is Mick Fleetwood, and they're these hideous, bizarre frozen fishmen, like the worst costumes. And Worf just goes, what a handsome race. I don't think you did, Roland, but I'll hear it. Yes, fishmen. Hideous frozen fishmen. I don't know if it was like a cultural thing or like a physiological thing, but they had a problem with warp travel. Like, they couldn't be awake during warp travel for whatever reason, so they transport them up to the ship in stasis, and then they transport them where they're going in stasis and unfreeze them when they get there. They literally, like, pick them up and put them in the corner of the room to get them out of the way. Well, I'd certainly agree with that, Roland, because Worf is not like any other Klingon that we meet in the entire series. He's a bit like Martok, but he's not even as boisterous as Martok. That's a good one to square. There's also the one where Riker makes breakfast for everyone, and it's fucking horrible, and nobody wants to eat it, except Worf, who's shoveling it down. And everybody looks at him, and he just goes, delicious. Loxana saves the day, and she doesn't even care. Yeah, that is that episode. I'm much kinder on the Loxana Troy episodes than I used to be when I was younger. I've come to appreciate what they bring to the series. Little. The name of the Fishman episode, Post Haste. Oh, okay. You can probably find it by typing in... I know a lot of episode names of this, some I don't remember. You can probably... Oh, yes, Loxana, Troy, and Odo. Okay, Roland, fair point. That episode is great. I love that episode. Where she cradles him in his liquid form. Like, that's touching. But if you were to just type in TNG, Worf, What a Handsome Race, I feel certain you will find the name of that episode. Google that. They're hideous. They're bad costumes. And one of them is Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. He literally doesn't have any lines. It's just him. It's the Daniel Craig Stormtrooper effect thing. I think that explains him later on, Kursala. The episode title is Manhunt. What's the A-plot in that episode? Manhunt. And good to see you, JT Kimmel. I'm glad you like them, Sewer Creature. I hope that inspires something. They're fucking hideous. They're like some of the worst costumes in Star Trek, next to the little kid alien in Future Imperfect. Yeah, that is the one, Stila, because they're transporting people to a diplomatic conference, and Loxana comes on board. That's the one where Counselor Troy informs Riker that Beta Z women, when going through their version of menopause, quadruple their libido. And then she invites Picard for a special Betazoid dinner ritual, implying there will be more people there, and then tries to trap him in her fucking quarters. I'm gonna start doing some arms and not do all the torsos, because some of these I might want to repose and twist a little bit. I'm just kind of arbitrarily twisting a few of them slightly off center, because I can figure out how I want to pose them later. Their arms. I have accidentally painted a really sexy Mad Cat. Oh my god. Is it a Canopian one? Alright, give me just a second, folks. I'm going to get up for a moment. I'm going to take this opportunity to take my usual leg stretch that I usually save for right before the storm report. I'm going to grab myself some water to drink. I'll be right back, and we will continue building. Oh, I almost spilled it on myself. It was nearly catastrophic, but wasn't quite. There, stupid, sexy Mad Cat. I'll see you in just a second. Also, Steela, fucking great to see you. Always love when Steela gets to stop into the stream. I know we must have gotten a shout out for Steela Rebel. We must have, but folks, if you haven't followed Steela Rebel, you're gonna want to go drop that follow. She's the one who bullied me into oil painting. You have her to thank for that. I'll see you in a second. And we're back. Sorry about that, folks. But it means we should be able to roll right on into the storm report at possibly even the correct time. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, I'm going to move these ones that I'm not putting the torsos on to the side for now. Excuse me. I'm waffling on my decision for the color of my Forged Fathers, too. I did the orange ones for my Deadzone team. I might do a different color for my Firefight Force. We'll see. Okay. Pick a couple of guys here to be big auto gunners and give them backpacks. Plankwalker, good to see you. Welcome in. How long have I been painting? Well, there are a couple answers to that question, to be fair. As far as, if the purpose of the question is determining, as it often is, like, how long should I expect to be painting before I can, you know, churn out quality to the level of the person I'm asking? I feel like that's usually the connotation of that question. I've been painting in this last burst of paint steadily for about the last 4 years. I really started painting probably almost 25 years ago, but it's been on and off in little bursts. I have long periods where I do almost no painting. But yeah, about 4 years. As far as without stopping at this point. Which I think is important. If you really want to build it as a skill, you need to be doing it steadily for a while. Even if you're not doing it constantly or every single day, just, you know, a little bit every now and then without long months in between. There we go. Now let's do some general backpackery. But I mean, like, I got started mini painting when I was just a wee little sprat. And I've told the story numerous times at this point, but I mean, like, you know, it's been like a lifelong thing for me, really, because I discovered miniatures long before I started painting them, too. I think I discovered miniatures as a very young child because I had a copy of the board game Hero Quest and The Dark World, which were really early, like, Milton Bradley Games Workshop crossover projects. So those were technically Warhammer figures. Arguably Warhammer figures in Hero Quest. And I think The Dark World was also in tandem with Games Workshop, but I can't remember exactly. I would say that I discovered that miniature wargaming existed as a concept, even if it didn't really cement itself into my consciousness a little bit afterwards when I discovered, I think I bought it at a Medieval Times in Florida. The game Battle Masters, I want to say it was called? I think it was called Battle Masters. Speaking of which, the other day I went to a comic book shop next to a new sushi place that we were getting lunch, and I saw a Battle Masters set in the window, and I was just like hit with a fucking hammer of nostalgia. I hadn't seen those models in so long. There were 2 games I can remember that I got into. One was, I think the game was called Battle Masters, and it was like sort of Warhammer Fantasy Light, essentially. It had like unit trays, and you'd put the units in the trays, and they had little flags, and there were monsters on big trays, and you'd move them around the field on a big hex grid. You'd move around, and you have a battle, and you'd roll dice. There was another one that was like... And I might be mixing up the names here, because the only name I remember is Battle Masters, but I'm remembering 2 games. The other one was this stupid, like, it didn't have dice, it wasn't really like an in-depth game. It was, you would set up models, and it had little catapults and little cannons, and they had little orange balls. And you put the little orange ball in the catapult, and you'd flick the ball, and you try to knock over enemy units. It was much more of a toy than a game. I mean, they're all toys, but you know what I mean. 6x6 playing mat. Yeah. Battle Masters. It was huge. It was a huge mat, and it had big hexes on it. The hexes were like 8 inches across or something. But it wouldn't be for years that I really got into tabletop wargaming. After that, my next experience would have been BattleTech on a paper hex mat with paper standees, and I played that with my brothers, my older brothers, for a long time. And then years later, I would be on a trip over to the UK, and I was in Stirling. And this is the one that I remember very, very clearly. Crossbows and catapults. Thank you, Grey Mail. Yes, that was it. That absolutely was it. Crossbows and catapults. And I picked that up, like I said, at a Medieval Times in Florida. And when I was in Stirling, though, I remember distinctly, and my parents were very angry at me for this later, because I just sort of disappeared, and they thought, like, someone had stolen me or something. But we were standing on the street heading up the road to Stirling Castle, and I turned my head to the left, and I saw a store, and above that store was a sign that said Games Workshop. And I thought to myself, what could this possibly be? And I just sort of walked in without telling anybody. And inside were a couple of gentlemen who, for years, I spent time describing when I told this story. And then in recent years, I had a moment where I realized I was essentially just describing what I would ultimately become. So, there were 2 gentlemen who very much resembled me now. And they had set up on this big board a bunch of scenery. And they had these crazy-looking space warriors with guns and weird demon horns, and then they had a bunch of lithe-looking space elves, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? What is happening? They explained what Warhammer was to me, and from that point on, I was in to some degree. I would dabble in 40k for many years after that. I had friends who played it. I would play with their armies a lot of the time. I think the first army I bought was either Tau or Chaos Iron Warriors. I can't remember which, but I bought it from a friend of mine. And then I started getting into building and painting the models a little bit later. Still not very seriously, but we'd sit at the internet gaming cafe where we would hang out and play Dawn of War, and myself and my buddy who went by Jester would be building our models and kind of painting on them while everyone else played like World of Warcraft. It was future me, so yeah, I have to remember to go back there, Squeezel, when I go back in time. Otherwise, I'll mess up the time stream. And then when I joined the army is when my involvement got a lot more serious. And that would have been around the time that 4th edition changed into 5th edition, because I started playing seriously in 4th edition. And then I got all the... I pre-ordered everything for the transition to 5th edition, and I've still got all that. I've actually got... Where is he? This is a model I keep meaning to paint. I don't really do Warhammer 40k on this stream. We've done a couple individual figures, but... Let's see. Here he is. I knew I had him. I do have this model. I don't know if this is, like, rare or difficult to get anymore, if anybody even remembers it. He's metal. This was the limited edition Space Marine Vanguard veteran. And this released with 5th edition, with the introduction of the Vanguard veteran and, like, Stern Guard veteran and a number of other forces to the Space Marine Codex. He's a cool model. His chest eagle is very unique. And, again, I don't really know, like, the collector's status of this model. I don't know if anybody even gives a shit about it. But it's old, and it's metal, and it was limited edition. And I never painted it. I never put paint on this model. I based it. You can see this was my basing job circa, like... It says right there. Games Workshop 2005. That's when I got it. And that probably would have been when I glued him to his base here, for that matter, and put some slate down. But I never got around to painting him. He's standing on, like, a broken Aquila, too, which is kind of cool. Maybe I should. Maybe I should paint this guy. It has been almost 20 years. I would rebase him at this point. In fact, I'd probably strip him and reprime him altogether. Alright, let's do the big auto cannons. They're going to go with these arms, the ABC arms. Two on each spruce. I'll take 2 from here. He must be naked for all eternity. Technically, he isn't naked. He does have primer on him. He's had primer on him for like 20 years. Can anyone tell me, like, does anybody feel like doing a little bit of internet research? I'll do it after the stream if not, but I'm just wondering. Is this model worth anything to anybody? Is it special in any way at this point? Does it, like, go for an inflated price on eBay or anything? Not that I want to sell it. I have no plan on selling it. I'm just wondering if this is significant in any way. This is the metal Stern Guard veteran, really. God, look at this. Look at this super glue joint. No wonder his arm broke off. I didn't even score the surface. I had no idea what it was doing. Terrible. Just terrible. I'm wondering. I'm wondering if this is significant in any way. Probably not at this point, but I think it's kind of cool. I also have the 5th edition, limited edition, big black book. Big rule book. It has a big resin purity seal on it and everything. Hey, Asri, how you doing? They are 28mm scale. These are dwarves, which is why they're so small. They're little space dwarfs. $40 on eBay? That's not bad. I have no interest in selling him. I'll probably go ahead and paint him. I'll paint him much better than I was ever capable of painting him back when 5th edition existed. Hey now, he's not derpy. Come on. You want to know what we had to do? You want to know what we had to do back in the day? To size up our Space Marines to get them closer to the size and the scale that they were described in the books, because we went through a lot of work to convert our Marines when we wanted. Back then they were called true scale Marines, because the Marines have always been slightly out of scale from what they were supposed to be. They were the size of guardsmen. I recognize this. I recognize that the now called Firstborn sculpts were not as good as they could have been, and the Primaris sculpts are all pretty good, even if I don't like a lot of their aesthetics. Also $10. Yeah, so not really worth anything. Still kind of cool. It's a memento of my past, you know? You don't have to paint anything if you don't want to, Asri. You want to know what we had to do? We had to buy... This is one way that we did it. I did this guy in probably 2004, 2005. We had to buy, and by the way, this base that he's standing on was from one of the first released Citadel basing kits. We had to buy Warhammer Fantasy Chaos Warriors. You see his legs here? These are the legs from Warhammer Fantasy Chaos Warriors. And what you do is you take a blade and you trim the boots off, and then you come in with green stuff and you sculpt the Space Marine style power boots. And oh god, this sculpting is so rough. I had no idea what I was doing at the time. But you sculpt the power boots on, and then you have some taller legs. You take the Space Marine torso, put it there, put a little green stuff to fill the gap. And you end up with a Space Marine that is... And I think this guy's actually... Yeah, this guy was actually physically larger than the Space Marines at the time. But you have something closer to a true scale Space Marine. Like how I got little dangly skulls on there? This was a fully converted job on my part. I also used the skull head from the Chaos Warriors for this chaplain. Automat, you take care of your eyes, bro. Yeah, they all had the kind of squatty leg pose. The Space Marines just took over the name. The true squats. The squatting squats, if you will. I never had that much of a problem with the old sculpts. They were fun. I still prefer the old Space Marine helmet to the new Primaris helmet. I'm not really a fan of... They got the smooth pseudo beak with the little slits in it. I like the frowny face or the full Mark 6 beak. Alright, let's put some big guns on these boys. I don't think that ever happened, Roland. I think you're mistaken. Evidence in the storm report that I'm getting some work done for the show this weekend. Oh my. You know, the old Space Marines never skipped leg day. No, they were always getting in those bodyweight exercises, bro. Oh, Roland, there's no reason to say such hurtful things. Come on. It hurts my feelings, man. Oh, hold up. What am I doing? These need to come together. Like so. Let's see if we can't get it so it's relatively level with the ground. That's not half bad. It's one of 4. Each of my 2 Steel Warrior squads has 2 of these big autocannons in it, just because they're fucking awesome. They have pinning, they have armor piercing, they are all around great weapons. There's also going to be shoulder pads that go on here, so I'm not too worried about the connection point, because there's a piece that sort of covers it up. With plastic glue, what I'll usually do, like this isn't the final pose, I'm just putting it in here until the plastic starts to set together, and then I can release it and it'll stay. And then, I can put the other arm on and I can position them together. It's aiming a bit down. Let's try to fix that, shall we? There we go. I didn't even think about that until I posted that on the Discord to Square. Like Steel Warrior Studio. Oh. And then he's got the beard. You know? I'm just saying he might be a dwarf. Steel Warrior Studios may be a front for space dwarfs. Not saying that he is. I'm just asking the question. I'm just gonna splort some extra glue in the gap here because that should help it set and fill some of the void space in there.
You know, I suppose you could just go ahead and glorb that paint on anywhere.
Can
it's
and
not
I
like
will.
we're trying to get inside the lines or anything.
I can and I will. I don't know how short or tall he is. I couldn't say. He could be. He definitely has the beard. Holy shit, that thing is out of control. It's almost time for the storm report. I'm gonna at least finish gluing my autocannons on. At least that much. And then we'll get started. Oh, he's been working, Roland. He's been working a whole lot, and when he does stream, he is streaming Foxhole, usually with Alaric Kerensky. A lot of the time when he plays, he doesn't even stream anymore. He just plays, and Alaric will be streaming, and he'll be on voice chat with him, and that's it. I think he works and he plays games and he doesn't really have time for much right now. Much else. Which, it's a shame. I always love chaotic streams. It's not that much of a shame. He's got a fiance and a good job, so, you know, if that's a shame, we should all be so lucky. Shame for internet socialization time. Accurate, yes. He is missed. Oh yeah, those are the early days, Roland. Chaotic is one of the first people that I really started interacting with regularly who was already a streamer here on Twitch. I was back when Vergatorung streamed more too. I think in both cases though, they got work responsibilities, you know, and that's going to take priority. You did indeed, Nocturnal, just. Hey, I got most of my torsos done tonight, and I got started on my weapons, so we're on track to be painting these bad boys come Thursday. Not bad at all. Oh, that reminds me. I want to use these alternate torso fronts for my Wrecker squad, which I'm glad I remembered that before I did these. The Wreckers being the... It was probably said differently, but they're the flamethrower dwarfs. Which, again, I am excited for the prospect of having my army have this flamethrower tank full of flamethrower dwarves. There's just something so very, very appealing about that. So very, very appealing. Oh, that's exciting, Desert Owl. Yeah, I mean, streamers usually go in cycles, too. You'll have more time, you'll have less time. Work rears its head. Kids, what have you. I got like 2 minutes. I'm gonna fool around with the Forge Guard sprue for a minute. I'm gonna cut out a pair of legs. Looks like they're paired. B. B. Hey, what's up, O'Coral? And B. I think there's a top that goes with it, too. A C. Why would they do this? ACFB. Okay, sure. It must have made sense to the guys at the plant. Indeed, there's 1 whole minute before I'm technically late, so we're gonna go ahead and wait that minute. I would hate to disappoint my most loyal viewers. I just want to glue this guy together because I want to see what size he is by comparison to the Steel Warriors. Okay, there we go.
Warning. Fingertips covered in superglue are not approved safety gear for handling razor blades.
And yet we're gonna use them anyway. There you go. You just go on just like that. Don't even worry about it, fella. Yeah, I would hate to herald the apocalypse. Exactly. Then everybody would blame me. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's avoiding blame. That's what the government job taught me. Yeah, they're not that big. I mean, this is, you know, essentially the Terminator armor to the Steel Warriors power armor. So they're not appreciably taller, except they have the big super shoulders on them. And then they have weapons integrated right into their arms. That's something. I've built plenty of Steel Warriors. I've never built Forge Guard before, so it's kind of interesting. Flattening his feet out there. Oh, these guys will be fun to make. I'm not going to give them any special armaments. I'm just going to build 4 of them with standard stuff because that's all that really fits within that 1,000-point list. And I figure if I go higher than 1,000, I'll get another set of them. Alright. Alright. Move my blades out of the way so I don't jam my elbow into them. I don't know if I showed you guys, this is the Iron Ancestor model. This is their mech, which I had a moment at first which was really dumb, where I was like, why is it so much smaller than the mechs from the other factions? And it took me a full day to realize that, oh, they're dwarves. They're dwarves. They literally don't need as much internal space as others to fit inside their mechs, but hey, it's pretty neat. Like how it has one big nasty hammer arm and then like a double machine gun for the other one. Dwarf mech. Exactly. They have a few different patterns of Iron Ancestor. You can have like a ranged one or a melee specialized one. I think there's a drop version. Good building. Productive building. But now we go on to the storm report. Did I paint them? Rebel 21. Who are you talking about? Did I paint whom? How you doing today, by the way? Good to see you. Welcome in. Vrebel. V-Rebel. That makes more sense than Vrebel, because that's not a word. I'm gonna go with V-Rebel. Gus Schultz, welcome in. It's good to see you, man. Also, I have a snack that I'm going to enjoy. These things are fucking delicious. If you're asking about the Forge Fathers in general, V-Rebel, we're just building today. So we got a bunch of them constructed. I'm going to be finishing these up probably more tomorrow. We should lay into painting them on Thursday. So if you want to see some Forge Fathers getting paint put on them, that's going to be the time to be here.
Alright, Locusts and Gentle Mechs, get ready to feast your eyes on glowed paint and wet palettes with the occasional culinary atrocity thrown in on tonight's Storm Report, brought to you by viewers like you.
It's the Nature Valley sweet and salty nut peanut flavor. That's what we're talking about, Waffles. These things are fucking amazing. It's good for me to have a little snack right about now, too. I'll get cranky otherwise. Yeah, V-Rebel, we did the GCPS last week. I started building them on Tuesday, and I had them all painted by Saturday. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that with these dwarves. I think it'll work because this list at 1,000 points is half the number of models as my GCPS Marines. My GCPS Marines I think I've got 47 infantry, For the same point size for the Forge Fathers, I have 28 infantry. So I think we'll be able to get them knocked out using speed paints. Man, I'm tired. I spent a bunch of time earlier. I got the Kubota out, and I was just hauling crushed concrete back and forth across the property, putting it in some piles, and then raking it out over some weed barrier. And man, that shit takes it out of you. It really does. V Rebel, thank you so much for the follow. We're gonna be doing a lot of Firefight. I have my GCPS are done. We're doing Forge Fathers now. Next, I'm gonna be doing Veermen, and after that, I'm going to be doing Asterians. I don't know if I'm going to wind up doing Enforcers. We'll find out. I do have some Enforcers, I just don't really play them very much. And we'll be doing some terrain, too. Oh, that reminds me. Hang on. That reminds me of this, which I wanted to show you. I'm going to go back to this scene for just a second. This is one of the first things I made out of Mantic terrain. And the standard way that Mantic terrain is built is it's these panels and they lock together with these clips. And then I just took, because it's all styrene, I just took pieces of styrene sheets and I cut styrene rod to make what looks like rivets. So I built like a little extra barricade here and, you know, little patched sections here and here to kind of cover this up. And you kind of can't see it because I need to paint it in a different color. But if you look here at this design, this is like my Veermen terrain that I made out of their terrain. I'm going to say the word terrain like 9 more times until it sounds weird. But if you look, there's an ear, eyes, nose, 2 big buck teeth, and whiskers. It's like a... it's like a 90s cartoon style symbol, like an orky symbol that I did for the Veermen. I thought this was cool as hell, and I really should paint it. I went to all the trouble of taking a blade and making it look like it's been shot up and everything. I think I'm going to repeat this on some more terrain pieces for my rats. And then on the inside, I added some stuff of my own. I made these, like, ramshackle, riveted together ladders, extra barricades. Kind of bridged this gap using some random pieces of styrene and whatnot. Like, I really feel like this is a cool piece of terrain. I've had it for like 2 years. No, it's been more than that. This has been like 3-4 years, and I haven't painted it. I clearly, at one point, I was thinking about it because I primed it. But the point is, you can make some really, like, if all you have is some styrene cards, some styrene rod, and the terrain kits from Mantic, you can make some very cool stuff. And, I should finish this. You know what we'll do? We're gonna paint this as part of our Veermen painting. When we get around to painting Veermen, which should be next week, we'll go ahead and do this up for them. Because it's a nice piece. And very playable. I added in the extra cover down here just so that it was usable from multiple directions. But I'm most proud of this, and I think I'll probably, now that I'm 3D sculpting, I'm going to replicate this symbol that I made here on some other pieces. Once I get paint on it, I'll be able to see it better. But again, the Mantic terrain kits are really quite nice. Okay. Let's see what folks have been sharing with us. Up first we have from Mafik. Prepare yourself, Baldman. Good old Baldman. Bob is coming. Arden giving Cain a warning before cutting off community. Oh, Baldman. Oh, it's Cain. It's the Messiah. It's the prophet. This is Bob the Eldritch Mole Beast. And I know it doesn't look like a mole to you, but it is the scavenger of the Iron Desert's only large pet. The scavengers of Iron Desert's only large pet in the Broken Void. Bob was found, I assume, by a female scavenger, Lorraine, when it was just a small mole, During the Crystal Age, Bob grew unexpectedly huge, and they used him as a supply carrier until the Scrap Age began. Everyone remembers the Scrap Age, of course. One day, Bob woke up from its slumber beneath the Skull Sand Town because it was attracted to the Tiberium crystals stored in Nod's vehicles and other machines at a Nod outpost built in a nearby village a couple of weeks ago. Eldritch Mole Beast, Bob, no joke. Okay. No jokes allowed. We're not allowed to joke about Bob. That's fair. Here we have, for scale, holy shit, he's huge then. Nod avatars are freaking gigantic. They're like a few tanks stood on end. Avatars are weirdly one of my least favorite units from CNC3. I liked a lot of the other things they did. Other than using the Nod avatars, I get obsessive about them. Like, I can't use the avatars in their standard state. I have to fully upgrade them. So when it becomes avatar time, it's like avatar, stealth tank, bike, flame tank, beam cannon, scavenge, rinse, repeat like 4 or 5 times. I don't know why I'm incapable of not fully upgrading them. I think it's just obsessive compulsive disorder. Bob likes to eat crystal, including Tiberium. Well, that is a brave palate that Bob has. Tiberium is notoriously difficult to digest, but good old Bob is clearly down with divination. I like his whole look here. I like the big, like, antlion-style mandibles that he's got going on. And yeah, you can see his body continues under the ground. Bob is a good boy indeed. He looks very scritchable. Like, if you had a giant hand, you could just kind of get right under the rough here, you know? Give him one there. I'll bet that itches. I'll bet he kicks his little leg when you get in there, too. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. That's very serious. I believe that is exactly how that would go. Mafik. This is a really neat design. He has sort of like a round leech. Like, he has a bit in common with a sandworm, but then he's kind of furry and he's got legs and he has these... I like these mandibles a lot. It looks like a ring of eyes all the way around his head, too. Like habanero peppers. Do they give him indigestion, I wonder? Seems likely. Very cool work, Mafik. Terrifying yet cute, though at scale more terrifying. Yeah, if it was like there in person, it would probably be significantly less cute, to be fair. Here we have from the Happy Heretic, Captain Cuervo's mech is complete. The length is that of 4 MCVs. MCVs are so neat. Why haven't I made more models from Command & Conquer? I don't know. I should. I borrow inspiration from CNC when I'm making most of my buildings. Captain Cuervo's mech is complete. This is the CO of my Merc unit under Tequila Sunrise. Speed paints with oil paint highlights and a pin wash of burnt umber. Really like how it came out. Especially happy with the cockpit glass. Used my oils to do a little earth sky reflection. I think it worked real well. I'm excited to see this. I haven't done much combination of speed paints with oil paints for pin washes or detailing, but it does seem pretty effective. Damn. I think the pin wash works particularly well. That's one of the weaknesses with speed paint is like panel lines. It doesn't darken them all that much, certainly not enough for most mecha designs unless they're really deep. So yeah, using an oil pin wash for the panel lines and then wiping away the excess seems like a great way to go about it. I love the fade from the dark up through the orange into the yellow, but then I like all these mechs. I can definitely see the sky-earth reflection here. I'm picking up what looks like a tree over here and a tree over here. That's very slick. Very, very slick indeed. God, this mech is bizarre. Yeah, and oil paints don't reactivate speed paints. Now, I haven't had the problems with reactivation that a lot of other people have. I haven't really experimented that much with it just because it hasn't popped up using my methods, but considering how many people have complained about it, I think spreading the word that oil paints and oil solvents won't reactivate speed paints might turn some people on to doing oil washes over them. Maybe that's the ideal Happy Heretic, is speed paint and then oil wash. Maybe we'll do that on these dwarves. I'm thinking about painting them green. I know I did orange for the other ones. I'm thinking about doing these ones in Absolution green and then doing like a gold yellow for their shoulder pads and their knee pads. And I'll tell you why I'm thinking about this really quick while my mind's on it. Is because a number of dwarves have heat hammers. And they're like, you know, hammers that glow with internal heat. They're like magma hammers. And I want to paint them with an internal glow effect, like they're heated up. But if the dwarves are orange and then their hammers are orange, yellow, red, that's not going to show up very well. it's not going to look good. So my other thoughts on it, and please feel free to give me your thoughts on this in chat. I'm absolutely open to suggestions here because I have not yet decided. I'm either going to go with a Dark Angels inspired John Deere. I guess it is kind of John Deere. I was going with Dark Angels, but John Deere inspired, let's say. More of a forest emerald green and then yellow accents. And then their hammer would actually contrast pretty well. And I could do the hammer glowing red, and then I could do the crystals red, and it would create a nice balance. Or, the other option is doing the dwarves in classic Space Wolf colors. The sort of soft blue-gray, then with yellow details, and maybe some little, like, red slash marks or claw marks or something on them. Shame the purple speed paint you have. I mean, we haven't really given it another try yet. I think I could make it work using some of the methods that I have adapted, specifically the black primer white dry brush method. I think it would work better with that Kimishkar. You think purple dwarves? Hadn't really thought about purple dwarves. Well, if you have any thoughts on Forge Father paint schemes, please feel free to give them to me. I'm still pondering how we're going to do that. I've got a couple days yet, though. I'm leaning away from the orange, again, because the orange is going to detract from the heat glow effect on the hammers, and I really do want to do that. Since it's only like 5 models in the army that have those heat hammers, I'm comfortable making those focal points where I spend a little bit more time painting. Here we go. Oh god, I'm gonna choke. Excuse me. Here we have from Journeyman Paint Hour, second Eridani Light Horse Mech for my 500 follower giveaway. Fuck yeah, Journeyman Paint Hour. One of the first 3D printed mechs I bought, did a decent job despite poor print quality. Favorite part is the glacier base, especially using Rainy River's ice flock as the ice fall in the crevice. And folks, don't forget, you can always hit ! Rainy River in chat to get a link over to Rainy River Designs, where you can find all sorts of excellent acrylic paints, washes, glazes, flocking materials, even models. Definitely go check them out. Lots of super glue creates the cracked ice effect on some cork. Snow flock finished out the rest. That's similar to something that Chaotic Harmony did, I think, last year. He was doing some mech work and he used super glue to create ice effects, and it was more like, if you had just told me he was going to do that, I would have been like, I don't think that's going to work. But once I saw it, I was more sold. Would appreciate any feedback on the base. Took notes from last post on the Mini. We definitely have more contrast on it this time. I love the inclusion of the red caution stripes. I think that contrasts really well with the green. The yellow cockpit glass is a wonderful choice there. Very subtly lensed. I appreciate that you bring it all the way to this nearly black brown. That's really important when doing lensing effects, is that you get that real deep color. You don't want it all to be too bright. You want the brightness to be very limited. So this actually reads very well. I dig the glacier base. This is actually pretty effective. Let's see. So if you look at glaciers, they tend to be, particularly if you look at ones like in cross-section, they tend to be kind of darker blue towards the top because the light is shining through them, and then it's catching and reflecting on the bottom in the ice. So it'll be darker blue at the top, and then as you go down, it turns lighter blue until it has this very soft sort of cyan, aqua color near the bottom. And I think that if you wanted to sell this being translucent, apply a similar effect as you did to the lensing, and bring in some lighter blues here towards the bottom, so it looks as if light is shining through the ice and then reflecting off of the bottom surfaces here. But the very top will have snow. Even so, if you look at, because like leave a few spots, like cover it with snow, but leave a few spots there and just have a little bit of lighter color down here. I think it'll read more as ice. Look at some pictures of glaciers, and you can see the sort of soft light blue that I'm talking about. I feel like that would help, because specifically what we have right here is the glacier is sort of uniform all over. It's dark blue, and then it has the lighter white blue dry brush over it pulling out the detail. And what we need, this is just my opinion, is a little bit more overall composition to the ice. A transition from dark down to light to sell, again, that translucent effect. Slightly less uniform is all, and just because it is meant to be a sheet of ice as opposed to just like dirt. or something. But the construction of it is excellent, and I love the snow flock going down into the crevice. That's a nice touch. Very nice. Very nicely done. Definitely some improvements made on this guy. And as I said, I love the lensing. I love it, Journeyman Paint Hour. Congratulations on 500 followers, my friend. I'm going to have to make sure I show up for that. Here we have from Gimishkar. Some more silhouette practice / goofing off. Fill the page and move on. That's actually a good idea. I need to get into the habit of doing more sketch work. These days I tend to do it on my tablet when I'm sitting at the TV, whatever I'm watching. I'll just have my tablet and I'll just kind of sketch ideas, random shit. Most of it goes into the trash, but yeah, just sketch a bunch of stuff, and if you sketch a bunch of garbage, you might come out with something that you like pretty well. I like this dude. I'm seeing like, am I crazy? We got little feets, and then he comes up, and we got these little arms reaching out, and then this is his mouth, and these are his eyes, and he's like, he's got, he's got like the ultimate Robo Dirt face going on. Look at his jaw. It's all the way out here. That's probably not what it's meant to be. I assume it's meant to be something else. Though this does say Redneck Space Robo Slug Snail. So maybe I'm seeing exactly what I meant to see. I guess that's entirely possible, now that I think about it. Of course you can't, because it's right there. It cannot be missed. This is some sort of technological space banana, which is convenient because now we have, you know, something for scale. Robo got a booty. Like this one here. Got a little bit, little donk. Little badonk going on. This is an interesting. I like this. The sort of back-swept, treaded vehicle with like a fucking engine nozzle on the back of it. Well, you just keep on sketching, Gimishkar. Take all those images in your head and put them out on paper. And what I find when I do sketches is usually I'll sketch 3, 4, 5 different things, and then I'll find like one feature from each of it that I really genuinely like, discard the rest, and kind of combine them into something new. Sketching is a surprisingly fun process, sketching and concepting, once you kind of get over the notion that any of it has to look good, because it really doesn't. Looks like a Rocket Racer version of the Jawa crawler. Yeah, like the speed crawler, right? Very cool work, Gimishkar. Here we have from Squared. The FLGS is putting together a Solaris 7.
There's something about Canopian catgirls that give me that warm, fuzzy feeling. Or maybe it's just my allergies.
Take that opportunity to hydrate a little bit. FLGS is putting together a Solaris 7 arena, is looking for fake companies to stick on billboards, so I did a parody of Canadian Tire, Canopian Tire. It works surprisingly well, with the green maple leaf turning just into the Magistracy logo and everything. I feel like... Raining Fire did a building with Canopian Tire on it, or something. He did some plays on Canadian companies. And if you haven't, like, Squared, if you haven't seen Raining Fire's stuff, go check it out on Thingiverse, because if you're looking for fake companies with a play on Canadian businesses, I think he has several that are ready-made. It's very believable. As someone who doesn't see this regularly, I would buy that. I would buy that. Nicely done, Squared. Thank you for putting that up, Desert Owl. Here we have from Roland. Oh, there's nothing. It's just the spoiler. But why? There's a puke emoji. There's a banhammer emoji. We have Project Dark Fox glaring emoji. Does it say anywhere in the rules that I have to look at everything? I don't think it does. I mean, I wrote the rules. I don't remember writing that. Here's the thing, though, Esri. My mods haven't deleted it. They've only expressed disgust. So... Am I gonna sneeze? I might be about to sneeze. It's right there. Oh, come on. You're gonna go away and you're just gonna come out of nowhere. Oh, shit. Okay, let's... Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, no. I'm tasting it. I'm thinking too much about it and I'm tasting it and it's awful. Mountain Dilk. It even has an unappetizing name. But for the love of God, at least you're using whole milk and not some of that 2% crap. You know, I have to give credit where due. And that's something, Roland. It's not much. But it's something. Here we have from Cyber Knight Magnatorius Maximus Metal Core Collectibles, which, by the way, could we get somebody to hit Metal Core, exclamation point Metal Core in chat, folks, if you're into 6mm tabletop wargaming, sci-fi tanks, mechs, robots. Make sure you roll on over to Metal Core Collectibles, who is now selling STLs, by the way. Not just physicals, amazing physicals. You can buy models directly from him. They're incredible, they're customizable, they're magnet-friendly. But also STLs for home printing on your resin printer. Thank you so much for that, Desert Owl. What is this? A war game for ants? Got inspired by an old project. So here's some 3mm scaled Proxy War Sprinter 2.0s alongside all the old Sprinter versions. Era was just saying how he does 6mm and he had to go into, oh, they're so teeny. I think it's a testament to the quality of the design, to like the big elements, the overall composition of his Sprinter tanks and his designs in general, that they do translate down to 3mm and retain their important details. That's fairly impressive. Damn, those are some tiny, like, God, 6mm tanks are already so small. If you want to play a war game where you're quite likely to lose your miniatures during gameplay, consider 3mm. Though I guess if I was playing 3mm, I would probably be putting multiple tanks on a base and calling it like a tank formation or something like that. I don't think I've ever played a game in 3mm. I think 6 is the smallest I've personally ever gone for dice rolling, but hey, nice work, Cyber Knight. Here we have from Nocturnal Miniatures, working on them Old Dominion. Look at these bad boys coming together on their Elric's hobby bases. We got a Space Marine hanging out here in the back. He doesn't want to be left out. We got some of them awesome Cuttlefish colors here on the rack, looking at everything but the minis, but don't forget the minis. I'm loving the dirty, rusty, oxidized kind of brass, I guess more bronze color that we have going on these bad boys. I haven't seen anyone do the banner for the Old Dominion Legionnaires yet, but I mean, it's obviously very reminiscent of a Roman banner with good reason. I like the look of it though, with the laurel on top and everything. That's my community model hanging out in the back. Yeah, he's just chilling. He's just chilling. They could use dice as cover. Even the small dice. Oh my. These guys are looking great, Nocturnal. I love seeing the red start to creep in there. I feel like we mentioned this before. It's like they just need one more color. It's like they need a blue, they need a green, they need something cool. Something cool, even if it's just something small. Just to be sort of complementary to all the warmth that's going on in the metal and the fabric and the rust. I like that the bases are coming in at sort of it looks like a slightly warmish gray, but it's different enough from the reds that it contrasts well. It's got a little green in it, so that kind of works. There was just a little bit more green. I don't think it's really all that important. It's just something to help them pop. Because the paint jobs are good. They just need a little something to make you go, to help you see the paint jobs more clearly, because so much of miniature painting is essentially fooling the human brain by using light and color tricks. And creating a little focal point somewhere so that your brain can sort of process the rest of what you're seeing, I think would help these guys. And I feel like the same thing on the banner, like, if this were blue or green, maybe? I don't know, it's just something to consider. They're great looking models, but just, There's so many of them, you wouldn't have to do much. There's one focal point on each model. Purple banners. It would fit in with the Roman Legion look. They did love their purple as a symbol of empire. Touch of green in the inner ring of the shield, yeah. A little bit of green in there. Something. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. It doesn't have to be super strong, but just a little something. little something, just to put him over the edge, you know? Just to nudge him, just a teeny bit. Lovely work though, Nocturnal Miniatures, and thank you so much for sharing. Stand and a half done, stand and a half to go. Hell yeah. Here we have from Avash, more bolt action being painted, not just assembled this time. We actually got paint going down on it. I'm not good at giving critique for historicals. I'm not good at it, and I just completely acknowledge that because painting historicals is just so far outside my wheelhouse. I did play bolt action for a while, and I did paint some historicals, but I got out of it very quickly because it just doesn't fire me up all that much. So when I see historical or realistic paint jobs, I look at them and I'm just kind of like, look, it looks believable. It's a good color. It's a nice drab. It looks like we're differentiating the trucks by a sort of different colored upholstery on our seats in the rear. Huh? Solid assembly, good looking base coats of ash. Get after it, bro. Give them Canadians something to ride in. Here we have from the Amish Stig, my latest modeling bright idea in bolt action. My frustration. Oh, wait, no. Amish Stig is the one who's doing the Canadians. Oh, shit. Avash, wait, which ones are you doing? I've confused the two people who are currently doing bolt action with each other. Oh, no. Oh, my brain. My poor diseased brain. My latest modeling bright idea in bolt action. My frustration with scenic base pluck guys as they die. That in situations where you measure to the base, the bigger base becomes a liability as the casualties mount. This is my solution. The magnets allow me to lift the gunner, slide the assistant and scenic base out of the way, have them place the lone survivor on the standard size one-man base. 2 sets of magnets prevent rotation, etc. While each pair having different polarities make sure the figure is pointed in the right direction. I am split right down the middle on this. I am split right down the middle on this. I have 2 major thoughts coming out of this. So I'm going to start with the positive one, and I'm going to move on to the negative one. And before I say either of them, I want you to know that the negative one is not particularly negative. It's just... First of all, I love the engineering behind it. The opposing polarities are in fact a great idea for ensuring that not only does it magnetize to the base, but it magnetizes securely, it doesn't rotate and it faces the right direction. Well done. The other half of my thought is you modeling for advantage, son of a bitch. You, God damn it. Okay. I see how it is. Stig is gonna win at all costs. That's where we're at. This is the long and short of things. We're gonna lose that ½ inch or so of extra targeting opportunity to make sure that we win a game by a ½ inch. I hope that when that happens, when someone like fails to hit your squad, the remainder of the squad after it loses a man because they're slightly smaller and you win the game, rub their nose in it. Be like, if it weren't for that ½ inch, you would have won, bro. I'll bet you base your gun teams different from now on. That's... No, I know what you mean. Because Beyond the Gates of Antares uses the exact same system. And yeah, as you lose men and go down to 1 man if you're using the large bases. See, what I did was I made bases that were the large size and then they have 3 slots in them. So that I can just remove the large base entirely and have the guys. I didn't think of doing the reverse polarized magnets though. That's a great idea. Either way, nicely done, Amish Stig. Even if I'd do this. If we were playing in person, I'd give you the Larry David, you know? And then we could move on. And speaking of moving on, here we have from Automat Americana. Big news! Good news, everyone. Raven is done, at least for now. Might do more Radiance. More Radiance? What's wrong with my brain? Might do more variants another time. I hope my Thunder Chicken is to Sumitha's liking. Took extra pains to make sure it was not only hilarious looking, but has enough room on the barrel for a cluck cluck boom decal or freehand. Now that is thinking ahead, and I appreciate it. Also did my most outlandish lower body pose yet. Hope that works out in the printer. Also got started on my next project. This is going to be a first for me, and it's pretty exciting. Nice. Yeah, I like it. This is good, too. There's some thought put into this pose. The fact that the leg is coming inward, and then the body, particularly considering that this one, if we're talking about the Thunder Chicken, it's going to be real right heavy. Now, did you put a weight on this side? That's something that I remember on one version of the Thunder Chicken, where it had like a counterweight on the left side to balance out the weight of the AC on the right. But either way, it's kind of leaning that way, and it's got its leg pulled more towards its center line. It's a very natural pose. I think this will also sit pretty well on the base, just because you're actually balancing the weight of the model over the support point better, at least in this axis. So structurally, that does make a lot of sense. There's weight on the left leg. That's what I was thinking of, Sumitha. Thank you. And then, are we working on a fighter? My brain, now there's nowhere near enough of this for me to say what it actually is going to be, but for whatever reason my brain is saying Battlestar Galactica Viper. It couldn't be. The cockpit on the Viper is different. But I see this, and my brain wants to fill in the details, and it fills in the sort of triangular shape of the Viper with the long pointed end on it. I'm curious. Automat. Please keep us posted. Here we have from Ulfgar the Awful. Working on old Morty. Look at that. I love this color palette you did here, Ulfgar. The wings look nice. This sort of ochre, oxide, rusty, nasty yellow color for most of the wing, going out to this, we have like a livid pink lining the various little rotted holes in the wing, and it comes out to this sort of, it's like a greenish black with the little spots. That's really cool. That's visually very interesting. And yeah, I see what you mean. Original Death Guard colors, so we have this sort of bone cream color for most of the armor, and then accented with green, and then using a much more vibrant glowing green for, say, the weapons and the pools of snot that we have on the base. All in all, an excellent looking Mortarion. Great use of the reds here, by the way, both in the tendrils and with his connection points of his robes. It creates, like, there's some good composition going on here that I can appreciate. Some excellent composition. The triangular shape of the red here, the balance of the green here, and a little bit. I think that if I were going to make any change to this... Are monarchs poisonous? Is that true? I didn't know that. But I can appreciate what you're going for. And this... you got a little bit here. There's this tiny little bit of the neon green. And I love it because it creates this triangle. Neon green, neon green, neon green. If I were going to change anything... And I always like to give, if I see something where I feel like you could take what is an amazing model and just make it just a teeny little bit of something to make it, like, that much better. If you could find an excuse to do more of this green on the end of his scythe, just to strengthen that bam, 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 that triangle there, that would be very pleasing composition, because then we have, like, triangle here, and then we have the upper part dominated by this yellow, which really kind of helps you see the green. Lovely. Oh, yeah, okay. I guess I've read that probably a number of times, and it just sort of filed away in my brain. They eat milkweed as caterpillars, and so they are highly... I mean, I don't go around eating monarchs, to be fair. It's not like, oh, shucks, I gotta stop eating monarch butterflies. That's cool, though. I like that. That thematically, that works very well. I can see a little Mortarion wandering around on whatever shit planet it was that he was on, which I can't remember the name of. Just munching on milkweed, little boy Morty. Lovely work, though, overall. Great composition, good colors. I would also say, I don't know what your photography setup is, Ulfgar, but looking at this, like, there are just a few camera settings, a few changes you could make that would probably really help see the details of the model a little bit better. Like, if we boosted the contrast just a tiny little bit on this, it would help him stand out from the background just a little bit more and see like the edges of the wings. Because with the black, they kind of blend in with the background just a little bit. But that's like, you could make subtle changes to the way you're taking photos that would make this model just pop a little bit more. But if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more. Taking pictures of minis is as hard or harder than painting them in the first place. I know I still have a lot of growing to do in that particular department, but you know, that's what we do. That's what we do. We keep working, we keep getting better. And Ulfgar, this is a fucking lovely Mortarion, really nicely done. I don't have the guts to approach any of these big demon Primarchs. I haven't yet. So take it with a grain of salt. Here we have from Warland97, just to give you a taste of what I have been working on. Here are the earrings I got done in the last 2 days. Ooh. Oh, very cool. Look at them. Warland, do you take them to like trade shows, conventions? Do you have a shop? I like the styling of. Oh, you know, my wife would probably like these. She's really into like crafty like bead earrings, things with multiple beads, interesting colors. She really gets into beads. If you you have an Etsy? Send me a link to that, please. If you would not mind, send me a DM on Discord with a link to your Etsy. I'm going to take a look at it. I would really appreciate that. It's a lot of earrings. It's a lot of earrings. Nicely done, Whirlin. Here we have from Asri, Ironbreakers Ho! Tiny little beardlings. The scale combined with how busy the models are was a challenge, but the metallic blend synced up exactly like I wanted. After this picture was taken, I went back and touched up a few spots, added a few more bright edge highlights. I had so much fun with these guys. I think I might paint another batch. That's what I want to hear. That's always what I want to hear. I painted these guys. It was fun. Let's do some more. And in case you're wondering whose names are in the Book of Grudges, Snuggles, Tusky the Beardless, Jeffs, all of them. Coleslaw McCabbageface, Matt Demon Prince, and Gorslav, because fuck that guy. All of them. That's wonderful. These guys look pretty great. I love... Like, these models are definitely tricky. Because they're so kind of compact, and they do have a lot of detail in them. You've kept it fairly simple. The silver with that little central line of what looks like gold or brass kind of helps to separate out the details of the helmet, still see it well. The mostly blue motif on the shields and the fabric against the red of the beards. You very wisely focused a lot of the bright, vibrant colors in the beards to create that sort of focal point. These are good-looking models. I like them a lot. The little splash of green on the base, which really creates that triad to help set off both the orange and the blue. I guess the one thing I would say is that the hammers kind of disappear a little bit, oddly. I mostly see the bodies, and I gotta kind of look to see the hammers and the axes. I'm not sure what I would do about that, or if I do anything at all, because they're good-looking figures, and that may be a consequence of the background. It may be a consequence of the fact that they're set against kind of a busy background with a lot of dark colors, like here and here, so that might just be the photo. I don't know if I would put any more effort into that, but the overall body of them is, like I said, well composed. Easy to see. I like it. You see the scale reflected in those army painter tufts. They're tiny, yeah. The dwarf models are always... They kind of always have. The same thing with these little Forge Fathers. I'm like painting these little dudes, and I forget that all the models are twice as tall as them. Beer Pig's up next on those painting handles. Oh my god, it is a beer... Those are pigs with beer barrels on them. I am a little bit more excited to see this project continue than I was a few moments ago. Thank you for pointing that out, Asri. Here we have from Sumitha. Well, I mentioned the Razorback model last time. Ooh, putting it side by side with the Rocinante because, well, why the hell not? These lovely models really look great on the shelf side by side, to be sure. I'm still slightly concerned about the Rossi's paint coating because some tiny specks of paint have come off as I've handled it. Really? That's disappointing. I would expect better from them, honestly. Do you think hitting it with a varnish coat would help? Would it be worth it? I don't know. It's the only model you've experienced it with. Maybe it's just a one-off. Depending on how tiny they are. I mean, obviously, you know how to handle your own business. But I would say if it gets any worse, consider contacting them, because that's not great. And I'm sure they as a company would want to know they're putting out some that have weak paint adherence. We'll definitely be limiting touching that model from here on out. Fortunately, aside from a broken underside turret on arrival, easy fix, the Rossi appears to be a mechanically solid model. No issues whatsoever with the Razorback. Using this just in Redemption. Yep, to show multiple angles because I think they deserve to be shown off. Let's have a look here. I like the Razorback. You can't catch the Razorback. That's still one of my favorite details in the show, is the revelation that as Eros rockets toward Earth in what seems to be an attack, seems to be literally an alien attack. Oh yeah, I love the Razorback with the history of flight going down the side. That's so fucking awesome. And it goes all the way back to Icarus. I never noticed that detail. I have looked at this ship I don't know how many times. And somehow I never noticed that it goes all the way back to Icarus and Daedalus. That's cool. I like that a lot. It's the spirit of it, isn't it? That's really cool. Really neat paint job on it. It looks like a racing car, which, of course, Sumitha would like it then. But the revelation that Julie Mao integrated with the central seed consciousness of the proto-molecule on Eros and having taken over control of it. It's not that the proto-molecule is attacking Earth. It's that it thinks it's Julie. Like, Julie is it was the first consciousness that it absorbed. And much like, I don't know if you've ever played the game Prototype. Spoilers for an ancient game called Prototype. You find out most of the way through that game, because you start the game and you're a guy and you get infected with this goo and then you can mutate into all these things. And you find out towards the end of the game that you're not that guy. You find out towards the end of the game that that guy who you think you are died. And what happened was the virus touched his consciousness and his mind, and because it didn't really have a human consciousness the way we perceive it, it absorbed it and it became confused. And because that was the only consciousness inside of it, that became its core being. Its core understanding of itself, its self-actualization, its sentience. So you are a virus in that game that has confused itself into thinking that you're a person because you happen to have that person's memories. And I bring this up because that is, and again, spoilers for The Expanse. At this point, I feel like if you haven't watched the first couple of seasons of it, you probably don't want to, but be aware, spoilers for the first, I guess just the first season of The Expanse. But the seed for the proto-molecule first absorbed Julie, and as it absorbed other people, it maintained Julie as its central processor, basically. The consciousness that it used to understand itself and to continue moving forward. And Julie had a big problem with being touched. She had some circumstances in her life that were very traumatic to her, and she had this reaction, and you can hear it in her scream when they came at her, when they fired something at the station that she perceived to be herself. She had this "get the hell away from me" response to it, just a defensive response. And her reaction after that was run home. So the asteroid began to rocket towards Earth, and it was one of my favorite realizations in the show that this wasn't an alien attacking the planet Earth. This was the confused mind of a young girl running for safety. She was attacked, and she didn't understand what was happening, and she just wanted to go home. And it was beautiful. It's beautiful. Those first seasons of The Expanse are beautiful. They're so well composed and well shot. The characters are so well developed. I don't know if I should watch the last season of The Expanse. Gimishkar, I personally wasn't a fan, but if you've been in this stream long enough to know that I have problems with fucking everything, so take that with a grain of salt. I feel like it kind of fell apart towards the end. It's not actually done. That's the thing, Gimishkar. The Expanse is not actually done. It ended before the story ended, which is really frustrating. There's like a whole fucking 2 books or something after the end of the series, which is just nuts. So everything wraps up and gets tied up with a neat little bow and is just unsatisfying. Jay Schaefer? I'm a huge fan of seasons 1 and 2 of The Expanse, and I feel like almost everything after that was a steady decline in quality. It has some peaks. It has some peaks in quality in there, but it's the overall arc is down, unfortunately. Yeah. Is it Sumitha? I was left, like, that ending straight up pissed me off. The one with Holden and the Earth, the Soul System Coalition, like, that stupid bait and switch twist that they pulled. I was like, this is dumb, and it makes all the characters seem like fucking idiots. I hated that. But that could just be me. It might be. But here we are, at the end of the Storm Report and the end of the stream. Ending a little bit early tonight, but that is okay by me. It gives me a little bit of extra time to get some more work in before I head off for bed. Mixed feelings. I was as good a send off as they could do. I disagree. They could have done better. They could have done better with the budget they had, Sumitha. They blew their budget on a series of special effects sequences that added dick to the story and really frustrated me. They clearly spent a lot of money on that whole assault of the core station, and it was dumb. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't even fun to watch. It was just, oh look, they're running down a hallway shooting. Hooray! I'll stop complaining. Not forever. I will complain again. Just not right now. Just not right now. We'll stop for the moment. Oh, let's see who else is on tonight. Hooty Hoo, Impending Duff, Good Enough, Painting, Alark Kerensky, Commander Mittens, Useless Wizard, Fart McButtface. Oh, I like that guy. Wombat Combat is going. O'Coral playing some Star Wars Galaxies. Why don't we head over to Commander Mittens? Let's make that happen. Folks, if you're not following Commander Mittens, have I got a treat for you. By a treat for you, I mean my keyboard might not work. There we go, now it's working. Let's go ahead and get that started. And I know many of you might be turning in for the night. It does get a bit late around these parts. But if you feel like sticking around for a minute, go with the raid, make a little bit of noise, make Commander Mittens feel that love. Check out the stream, see if it's the kind of place that you want to chill. She has a fantastic stream over there. She's an incredibly talented painter. A lot of fun. Very funny. Consider dropping a follow even if you're turning in for the night, so next time she comes online, you'll get that notification. Discoverability is not great on Twitch. So we try to do everything we can to make sure that you guys are seeing other streamers you might actually want to watch. Folks, we're going to be back Thursday the 12th. I'm hoping we'll be able to start painting these models that we were building today. I'm probably going to get a little bit more assembly done between now and then. We should be able to get at least half of them. I'm guessing we're going to be laying in with speed paints, maybe some oils. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes, but we're going to try to just turn and burn. Sunday the 15th, we're going back to single figure focus. If I haven't finished Vader by then, we're going to finish off this Vader we've been painting. If you're curious about this, check out my Instagram for some closer pictures. I'm really happy with this limited edition figure. Either that or the limited edition Luke, one of the two. And then Tuesday, we're going to get started building our Veer Min Ratfolk for Firefight. Thank you to everybody who came out tonight. Thank you for all the contributions to the Storm Report, all of our new viewers. Thank you as always to my amazing mods. I gotta go get something to eat. So until next time, keep on painting.